And now let's take a look. We've got our game 2, our two-way matchup coming up. And to take you through that one, let's go down on the field where the rain has stopped and the skies are shining brightly on Brian Davis and Al Harris.
You have no idea, Mike, how grateful we are that the weather has cleared up a little bit. And we are going to have, I think, Al, a dandy in the 2A game. A couple of powerhouses, Central A&M of Moweaqua and St. Joseph's High School of Ogden. Al, you could subtitle this one, Something's Got to Give.
Something's definitely got to give with these two powerhouses from Central Illinois. Great run offenses and devastating defenses. This is going to be fun. Devastating
defenses and a couple of guys who have run for 2,000 yards this season. Central A&M comes in at 13-0, and St. Joe's just 12-1, one loss this season, and that was a 2-0 game, the only scoring a safety in the game. So this is one of those, again, with the fact that these teams run so well, they defend against the run so well, dry conditions or drier conditions with the rain holding off, that's going to have some impact today. This should be a good one.
It should be a real great one. I mean, there shouldn't be any problem with the field conditions. I think these teams are going to get after it. Neither one of them has won in a while. It's going to be great.
As far as this goes, Championship Friday continuing here on Sports Channel. We've got the 2A game, then we'll take a break, come back with the 3A and 4A game, and then tomorrow on Sports Channel, of course, the 5 and 6A games beginning at noon. As far as this one goes, well, you know something, we're going to count you down. We'll come back with a hardcore setup for the 2A game in just a few minutes.
From St. Joseph Ogden, Terry Maxwell. From Hampshire, Adam McCarthy. From Christopher, Jeff Miner. From Paxton, Leslie Loda, Todd Moore. Winnebago, Scott Nichols.
Today's coverage of IHSA Football Championships is proudly presented by Pepsi. Nothing else is a Pepsi. And by Country Companies Insurance. When it matters most, the country's behind you.
From Havana, Josh Peterson.
On a warm, unseasonable day, a little bit rainy, but we'll take this with temperatures in the middle 50s. Championship Friday continues from Hancock Stadium at Illinois State University in Normal. Welcome in, along with Al Harris. I'm Brian Davis. We go now to the 2A game, a couple of powerhouses. Central A&M of Moweaqua, St. Joseph's High School of Ogden, Illinois. Both teams from the central part of the state. Al, we talk about powerhouses. We can define it with these two teams. Mentioned earlier, you can subtitle this game, Something Has to Give.
Something definitely has to give. Both of these teams have been here before, but they've never won. So, you know, this is going to be fun to watch. One of these teams are going to finally get a chance to celebrate.
Both of these teams are used to lopsided victories. Central outscores its opponents an average of 41-7. Almost the same thing for St. Joseph. Both of these teams have been fire tested at different times during the course of the year, but both of these teams also, let's go back to the powerhouse factor, boast a couple of 2,000-yard rushers. Let's start with the guy from St. Joseph High School, Ryan Jones.
Ryan Jones, if you look at their team, this team, when I look at them, they're kind of a bulkier team. I mean, they look like they have a little more power there, and Ryan Jones gets behind that big offensive line. He really makes it happen.
So Ryan Jones with 2,000-plus yards, he has gained more than 1,000 yards here in the postseason. He'll be the workhorse for St. Joe's, while Central A&M is going to go to Perry Jordan.
Well, Perry Jordan, you look at this guy, 34 TDs, you know, 8.8-yard average. He's a tall, angular kind of guy. He looks like he can make a lot of things happen out of the backfield catching the ball as well.
Jordan is one of those guys that the coaching staff counts on frequently, and he's a money player. He's one of these guys. Hey, take a look at the fact that last week in the semifinals, Central A&M was tested probably the most severely it has been all season long. They defeated Monticello 33-30 in the semifinals. Perry Jordan scores 4 touchdowns. He scores 2 rushing, 1 passing, 1 on an interception return. So he is a guy that really, if they are to have some success, they've got to go with Central A&M, has got to go with Perry Jordan, and St. Joe's has got to stop him.
They do. And the thing is, you realize about high school football is these guys go both ways. So if there's an injury to Perry Jordan on defense, it can really throw a monkey wrench into their plans.
Let's talk about the experience factor. This, for Central A&M, the 3rd consecutive trip to the state finals. This 3rd time that some of these guys are playing, as Coach Mark Ramsey likes to put it, on turf. Last year, just an absolutely heartbreaking loss to Leroy. Leroy scored 16 points in the 4th quarter to win the game 16-14. The year before, that, Central A&M, the Raiders came in here and were defeated by Hampshire High School. So this, the third consecutive trip to the final for Central A&M. St. Joseph's has been here before, but not since 1989.
Well, their coach has been talking about that team and saying that 1989 team, the 1989 team, they said, forget that. We want the 1997 team. And they put a poster in his office, I guess, to remind him of that. So that's going to be interesting to see how they do.
One of the things that may serve St. Joe's well is a ball-hawking defense, an unbelievable plus-minus ratio, giveaway, takeaway. The Spartans are plus 34 in 1997.
No question about that. When you get turnovers, that's what wins games. Plus 34 is outrageous. That's hard to beat any team when they get that many turnovers.
Well, you know, the thing, Central A&M does not put the ball in the air very much. Neither, for that matter, do the Spartans. At the same time, the Spartans really proud. 32 interceptions this season.
Yeah, they do. And you know, that's a ball-hawking defense. When you see that sort of thing happen, that means there's good coaching back there.
The weather, not so much a factor as we look at the field at this moment. It was raining and raining hard earlier this morning here in the Bloomington Normal area. Things, though, have abated. It's very humid, but at least it's dry. It's not raining. These, again, two teams that really like to run the football, and that is going to probably give us a real true display of what these teams are capable of.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, that really, as you said before, the rain, that takes the rain out of the factor, except, you know, fumbles. They got to hold on to the football because turnovers, again, we talked about, is a big key.
Kickoff is approaching here at Hancock Stadium. Let's go to Jack Fritzen, the public address announcer here at Illinois State, for the starting lineups. Now we clear to go downstairs?
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here are the starting lineups for today's Class 2A state championship game. First, the defensive starters for St. Joseph Ogden. Head coach Richard Duval. At end, number 86, Chris Osterberg. Tackle, number 72, Ryan Wells. At guard, number 54, Adam Chastain. At end, number 95, Ryan Jones. Linebacker, number 51, Trent Ryden. Linebacker, number 27, Steve Bewley. Safety, number 10, Michael Wirtz. Cornerback, number 1, Corey Dutzman. Cornerback, number 5, Joel Mars. Safety, number 3, Dirk Doring. And a linebacker, number 60, Ryan Housley.
You guys.
And now the offensive starters for Central A&M under head coach Mark Ramsey. And in number 31, Brad Rutherford. At tackle, number 55, Justin Binkley. Guard, number 79, Richard Stewart. Center, number 50, Jason Churchill. Guard, number 56, Tim Webster. Tackle, number 57, Josh Monson. In, number 44, Mike McLean. Quarterback, number 18, Jeremy Medler. Halfback, number 46, Perry Jordan. Halfback number 7, Derek Wall. And at fullback number 6, Darren Wall.
So there are your starting lineups for today's 2A championship game with Al Harris on Brian Davis. And this afternoon, Pete Pranica is working the sideline.
Thanks, Brian. Talking about the road to normal for these two teams. St. Joseph, a 8-1 regular season, lost only in their season finale. Kind of an unusual game. And Brian, I know you'll talk about that during the course of the game. During the playoffs, a 4-0 run, outscoring the opposition 146-44. They beat Stillman Valley 39-14 in the state semifinals. Ryan Jones rushes for 3 touchdowns. For Central A&M, they have been ranked #1 throughout the season. They go through the regular season undefeated at 9-0, pitching 3 shutouts during that time. And in the playoffs, not really challenged until the Monticello game, 33-30, the final, Brian, to which you alluded. Now, the road to normal, of course, begins in your backyard. And for St. Joe, that's along I-74, midway between Danville and Champaign-Urbana. And for Central A&M, that begins about 15 miles south of Decatur. That's where those schools are located. The table is set. Take it away, Brian.
As kickoff approaches, Pete, and a reminder that these in high school are 12-minute quarters. St. Joe's will kick the ball off and back to receive for Central A&M. Number 31, Brad Rutherford on the far side, and number 12, Justin Dirks on the near side. The Spartans get ready to put the ball in play. And we are underway. Low line drive kick will be taken by Dirks at about the 6-yard line. Straight ahead, gets 1 block, and then taken down with some authority across the 25-yard line at about the 27-yard line. A 20-yard return for Justin Dirks. And Central A&M will go on offense from its own 27-yard line. Here are your Country Company starting lineups. First of all, the Raiders offensive line, an experienced group, not big but quick. The quarterback, Jeremy Medler for A&M, which runs the wishbone. Now splitting out to the near side, Derek Wall. The pitch to Perry Jordan across the 30-yard line, wrapped up and hammered down at about the 35-yard line. Let's pick it up with the rest of the starters for the Raiders of Central A&M. We talked about the quarterback Medler. There, the 2 halfbacks, Jordan, and then the twins, Derek and Darren Wall, playing this afternoon for Coach Mark Ramsey. Again, Medler up to center. The Raiders in the wishbone with Jordan in the middle, and now they split. Jordan to the far side. Actually, Darren Wall remains the lone setback. Jordan in motion, and the handoff to Darren Wall. He's to about the 40-yard line, and he's got a first down for the Raiders.
Well, that's one thing you notice, that they're trying to give a little misdirection there with Wall.
Let's take a look at the St. Joseph defense. The Spartans are keyed defensively by number 54, the nose guard, Adam Chastain, also Ryan Wells, the tackle. Both those guys in double digits in quarterback sacks. There are your linebacker cores and the secondary. An interesting story on Trent Ryden. He is number 1 on this team with 92 tackles. First and 10 at the 40 for the Raiders. This is Derek Wall, and he is tackled for a loss on the play. Taken down and held by Ryan Housley, one of the linebackers. That will be a loss of a couple of yards. So the Spartans defense, Al Harris, asserting itself early.
They did, you know, they got up to a little slow start, but Housley here, you see, nice wrap up there. He almost tried to strip that ball out there. He had good penetration.
Ryan Wells made first contact, loss of 4, 2nd and 14. The pitch to Perry Jordan. Gets 1 block, can't get another. Ball is loose. And covered by the Raiders. Play may have been blown dead, but he was wrapped up, Jordan was, by Ryan Wells, second on this team with 84 tackles, 13 sacks. Goodness knows how many tackles for loss.
And not only him, Trent Ryden here. I mean, he really puts a lick on him right there. Gets the ball out. That's the important thing about turnovers. We talked about holding on to the football in the wet field.
Loss of 2, 3rd and 16 now for Central A&M. They split the wishbone, and now to the air for Rutherford. Pop fly, he's got it. Beyond the coverage of the defensive back, Corey Dutchman, Brad Rutherford, a big play, 26-yard gain. First down, Central A&M in St. Joseph territory.
Good job getting some air underneath there. Dutchman was looking back at he was looking back at the ball. You know, he's happy when a quarterback can get a good throw like that. It's going to get him pumped up. He's going to have a lot more confidence.
Jeremy Medler, 64 of 105 for 1,000, not quite 1,100 yards. They don't pass often, but when they need to, they are usually effective. 14 touchdowns passing for Medler.
Well, one of the things you look at here, Brian, is Central A&M is doing a good job keeping them off balance. You know, some counters, some straight ahead, some pitches. Now they go up top. They're doing a good job of keeping St. Joe off balance right now in this opening drive.
A look there at Ryan Wells as after a gain of 4, Central steps up to the line of scrimmage, 2nd and 6. Once again, Derek Wall to the near side. Out of the eye, Medler the handoff to Jordan, and once again after a modest gain, he is knifed down, got the line of scrimmage and a little bit more. Tackle on the play.
That's good penetration there by the Spartans. See, they have to, it's 3rd down. This is a big key down for them. Central A&M has just been pounding them. They have to make a big stop here to change the momentum of this game.
Tackle on the play of 3rd-year starter Steve Bewley for St. Joe's, one of the main men in the linebacking core, and a good backing core it is for the Spartans. 3rd and 5. Now the pitch to Jordan, has a little trouble handling, but he gets a block and he blasts forward. He gets the 1st down and more. Finally gang tackled at about the 26-27-yard line. What blocking. Perry Jordan got a 10-yard gain, 1st down.
He sure did. If you watch this, he has a chance to go outside. He has excellent blocking there, but he seal it off and he cuts back in there. He has good vision. He's kind of a tall guy. He runs a bit straight up, and if he doesn't watch it, someone's going to separate him from that football. You want to get those shoulders a little bit lower.
Adam Chastain, the initial contact with help from Michael Wirtz and Mitch Getting for St. Joseph. 1st and 10, 26-yard line of St. Joseph. Medler, the handoff quickly to Darren Wall. He spins across down inside the 20-yard line. He's taken down by Wirtz and also by the quarterback Joel Mars. But again, a good gain off of 1st down for Central A&M.
Brian, basically this has been the Wall, Darren Wall, you have to say both of them, and Perry Jordan show. Just nice blocking on the inside. He keeps his feet moving, breaks the tackle of Bewley there. Just a nice job by the fullback. 9-yard gain, and again, Derek Wall splits to the near side. Jordan adjusts far side. Darren Wall remains in the middle. Derek Wall in motion, far side. Handoff, Jordan blasts forward. Down to about the 16-yard line. A sure tackle made on the play by the Spartans' leading tackler, Trent Ryden. If Ryden didn't ride him on that one, that would have been a touchdown. I mean, that was a nice quick hitter up there by Perry Jordan. Obviously, this guy has gained over 2,000 yards, 8.8-yard average. You can see why here. Quick hitter up there. Well, not quite saved the touchdown, but it would have been big yardage at least. Brad Rutherford is split to the far side for Central A&M. 1st and 10, now at the 13-yard line of St. Joseph. Now the fake handoff, and it goes to Derek Wall. He spins his way inside the 10-yard line. Derek Wall listed as a flanker on some depth charts, but this guy, 31 rushes. He carries the ball more than he receives it out of the passing game.
So he's coming out of the flanker position here. Just a nice counter, kind of like we call counter trade, but out of the flanker position. Does a good job of spin move and keeping his feet.
12th play of the drive. Central A&M has really begun to assert itself after consecutive tackles for loss short of the 50-yard line. 2nd and 6 from the 9-yard line. Medler hands to Jordan, blast through, down at the 1-yard line. Michael Wirtz meets him for St. Joseph, but Perry Jordan makes it 1st and goal for Central A&M. They'll get 4 cracks from the 1-yard line.
Just pounding the football, getting the backs and receivers involved in the blocking. And they keep going to that right side a lot. A lot of their big yards has been to the right side.
Help on the tackle from Dirk Doring. 7 carries, 29 yards for Perry Jordan. Now the lone setback. He dives, and he is into the house. Touchdown, Central A&M. For Perry Jordan, his 35th touchdown of the season, pending the extra point. 6-0 Central A&M.
This is why you see this guy dominates the game. Perry Jordan look a little bit like Michael Jordan on this. Nice high leap. Gets right over in for the touchdown.
His coach Mark Ramsey describes him as a strider. who can get up into the hole if he is asked to, and obviously over the pile as well. Jordan coming off of a semifinal game in which he carried the ball 37 times for 252 yards. On the two-point play, now the handoff to McLean, the tight end, and he is taken down short. The extra point, the deuce fails, so it remains 6-0 Central A&M, and St. Joseph will finally, with about half of the first quarter gone here at Hancock Stadium, get a chance to touch the ball offensively.
Well, I think one of the things there, the Central A&M, I think, made a mistake on that two-point conversion. When you're close, you give it a little too much time to develop.
That's Mark Ramsey, the head coach. His 15th season, 130 victories, 39 losses. Again, this is his 4th appearance in the final, 3rd consecutive, 13 straight years the Raiders have made the playoffs.
You know, what I meant by that is when you're running a play like that on a two-point conversion, you run a reverse. When everyone's close, you give it's just too many people in the box to run something like this. I would think it's just tough to get out there. You give people time to get around. Now I know they did it to the weak side, but you know, Dushman there was just waiting for it.
A 13-play, 73-yard drive took 6 minutes and 10 seconds off the clock. You had the big passing play on 3rd and long, 48 yards, though, on the ground. Corey Duchman, he is one of the several two-way players for Coach Rich Duval and the Spartans of St. Joseph. We will see him, should they get to that point, in punt return mode, where this season with 29 punt returns, he set a new state record.
I'll tell you what, Central A&M just stuffed it right down their throat. St. Joe has to answer them right in this run.
Now for St. Joseph along the ground, the ball is picked up and it is being advanced there by Steve Bewley, and he gets a decent return across the 45-yard line before he is wrapped up there by Josh Monson. So Steve Bewley puts his Spartans near midfield as we take a look at the Country Company's lineups for the St. Joseph offense here in just a moment. There we are, your offensive line. Bewley at center for St. Joe's. Kevin Bewley, that is actually Kevin Bewley, Steve's brother. Now the pitch right away to Ryan Jones around the right edge, and he escapes one tackle, and there he goes around the edge. He's got a chance to go. Ryan Jones, nobody's going to get him. Touchdown, St. Joseph. 55 yards, and just like lightning, the Spartans respond.
No question about it. We talked about them responding, and boy, did they respond with their big gun. Ryan Jones. This guy last week, Brian, broke a run for 97 yards, which turned the game around for this team. They were behind. As you watch just a basic pitch, he's going to run over the defender right here. Just shouldered him really nice, and he takes off. And he's got some wheels on him, too, looking to pull away from everyone.
That's Jeremy Medler, who also doubles as the strong safety for the point after. This is Greg Anderson. The kick is up, and it is good, and St. Joseph takes the lead. One play, 55 yards. Don't you touch that dial. We have got a dandy in Normal. Ryan Jones savoring his 27th rushing touchdown of the season. Ryan Jones with, again, more than 1,000 yards in the playoffs. He takes the pitch from the quarterback, Benso, and Al Harris, he's off to the races.
He just ran over Jeremy Medler on that play. I mean, that's the way, for a big, tall back, he dropped his shoulders very well on that.
Scoring drive, pretty simple. One play, 55 yards, all of 17 seconds. Aaron Reinhardt, who is one of the anchors of St. Joe's offensive line, a 3-year starter, also the place kicker here, and he'll put the ball up and he'll boot it to Dirks on the near side, 12-yard line, takes a look, gets his seam taken down across the 30-yard line. Good return again for Justin Dirks, 20 yards, and so Central A&M will start from about its 32-yard line.
The thing is, too, Central A&M has himself in a little hole going for that two-point conversion versus kicking the extra point. Now they're down by 1 instead of being tied, so that can play big into the game.
Here's Rich Duval. He is in his 10th season, 79-30 is the head coach at St. Joe's. Jeremy Medler looking for a little vengeance. Hands off to Jordan. He's roped down, tackle for loss behind the line of scrimmage. Contact made there
by guess who?
By Adam Chastain and Ryan Jones.
Ryan Jones, the guy that just ran 50-plus yards on that. They get good penetration on there. Ryan Jones just wraps him up, star on star.
And look at Chastain, made the initial contact and then grabbed those ankles like a boa constrictor. Loss of 1, 2nd and 11 at the 32-yard line. This drive started at the 33. Now the pitch to Jordan, gets a good block. He's got room. Takes a look right, decides to go inside. Turns out to be a mistake because he runs right into St. Joseph's defense, but not before an 18-yard gain.
I'll tell you what, the blocking on the wing for Central A&M is outstanding here. As you see, you got one of the Wall brothers out there blocking, and he just cuts it back. He's just a very tough, strong runner.
Also getting help from Justin Dirks, who splits time with Brad Rutherford at the end. 1st and 10, just shy of midfield. Darren Wall hammered down after a gain of 4 or 5 yards on the first down play. Tackle made there by number 86, Chris Osterber, who was moved from linebacker this season so that Rich Duvall had better athletes on the line. He moved Osterber on the one side, on the left side, and Ryan Jones up from linebacker on the right side. And it's a move that's paid off. 3-yard gain officially. 2nd and 7 at the 46. And the pitch to Jordan, now going far side. Gets a seam, good block. He stumbles, falls, but he still gets the first down.
The turf monster got to Jordan on that time. That's what we call the old turf monster. He was there. His mind said go, but his body said say what?
First down.
Nice pitch out there. He just gets his body turned up the field, and watch this turf monster grab him. I mean, he's open. Said go, and his body just stopped.
The cornerback Corey Dutzman will get credit for the tackle, along with help from the free safety Michael Wirtz. 1st and 10, 38-yard line. Once again, A&M on the march. Jordan up the middle, just strides. Look how he just glides through that first wall of tacklers and gets beyond the line of scrimmage.
He's a long strider type of person, but the thing I look at him, if St. Joe can get a good shot underneath his pass, because he runs a little bit high when he's coming through there, and early on, he was separated from the football, so if they can get a good shot at him, which seems to be tough to do at this point, they can get that ball loose.
8 first downs already for the Raiders. 2nd and 4. Look at the rushing yardage. Of course, that all for St. Joseph on one play. Now Medler decides to keep it, and he goes. He's got some room. Wirtz gets him at about the 20-yard line and collars him, ropes him down, but not before Jeremy Medler gains the 9th first down of the first quarter for Central A&M at the 19-yard line.
Coach Mark Ramsey's doing an excellent job of mixing his calls. You don't see him running the same play over and over again. Medler just hits the seam off of that option play. Just does a great job. Good blocking up there by Webster and Monson.
Central A&M averaging nearly 390 yards a game rushing, allowing only 62.5 yards a game by average. St. Joseph's opposition getting 138 yards and a half a game. St. Joe's offensively 259 and change. Jordan hammered by Wirtz. Collared by Ryan Wells, but once again a strong gain.
Wirtz rang his bell on that one a little bit.
And he's close to another first down.
Number 10, Wirtz there. He got a nice stick underneath him, but you got to get him at the line of scrimmage there. Nice blocking by the O-line there. And watch it, bang, gets right underneath there. That's where you want to place your helmet at, try to separate him from that football.
This is the 19th play of the first quarter for Central A&M. 2nd and 2 at the St. Joe's 11-yard line. Jordan cuts inside, gets the first down. One of his more modest gains as he is swarmed under by 3 Spartans tacklers, including Ryan Jones. Jones and Ryan Wells.
I tell you what, right now, Central A&M's line is just dominating St. Joe's defensive line. Their offensive line dominating their defensive line. I mean, they're just doing a great job of calling plays. I mean, they're keeping them off balance.
He's doing a great job.
There are Medler's passing numbers again. They don't throw the ball much. He's got a great touchdown to interception ratio. They don't throw the ball much, but when they do, they usually make it work. Medler, the pitch to Jordan. Off the delayed handoff, the fake. Jordan down to the 3-yard line, maybe the 2, depending on the spot.
Looks like the Spartans need to make an adjustment on that left side, maybe overload there a little bit. They're just getting great blocking, and their Jordan can just pick his holes.
Jason Swisher, reserve linebacker, one of the tacklers on the play, along with Michael Wirtz. 2nd and goal at the 2-yard line. We may have to start checking the record book based on what Central has done. We're inside a minute first quarter. Medler keeps and scores. No, that was not Medler. I take that back. The bottom line is that it is another touchdown on the board for Central A&M. Perry Jordan flashed into that hole so fast I lost the 4, turned it into a 1, and the 6 became an 8. Perry Jordan scores to extend Central A&M, or put A&M back into the lead.
Just great body lean by Perry Jordan. He just, just ran over some people under that hole.
Now the Raiders go for the deuce. Medler looking to pass, and he has got Darren Wall for the 2-point conversion. So after failing on the first attempt, the Raiders make good on their second, and it is now a 14-7 ball game.
Well, that gets back that 2-point conversion they missed, but you have to be careful now when you're playing 2 good football teams. But they did a great job, and they just stuffed it down their throat 2 times in a row. Now, as you notice here on the touchdown run, look at the excellent blocking up there. Derek Wall number 7, has done an outstanding job of blocking out there on that wing all day. And on the 2-point conversion, Medler, nice throw to the other Wall brother. Derek Wall just walling off St. Joe right now. Oh, boy. What a punt.
You're a joker. I don't know if I can keep up with you today.
I tell you what, Mr. Jordan is really taking over this game. But guess who waits on the other end when they get on offense? Ryan Jones.
And Jones will have something to say about it. We're waiting for the kickoff by Brad Rutherford. Once again, he'll be kicking to Jones and to Corey Dutzman. 9 plays, 67 yards, another long drive, took nearly 5 minutes off the clock. High in the air, kicking to the far side and out of bounds. And so St. Joseph will get favorable field position to start its second drive with only 43 seconds remaining.
You know what, maybe I see why they don't kick the extra point, because their kicking team, Central A&M's kicking team,
out of bounds. Penalty for the kick going out of bounds is declined. They'll take the ball.
Rutherford only 34 of 44 on points after this season. He has not attempted a field goal.
You can see why, as I shared earlier, you can see why they don't kick very often. I mean, their 2 kicks have given St. Joe great field position.
Under center for the Spartans, Michael Benso didn't really have a chance to introduce you to him on the first touch of the ball offensively as Jones knifes his way forward for a couple of yards. Michael Benso, a 58% passer with 22 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, had 3 touchdown passes in the semifinals, so this team will go to the air a little bit more than the Raiders will.
Well, one of the things that, Benso has really done a great job improving his throwing from last year. We'll talk about that a little more after this play.
Gain of 2, tackle for Central A&M by Mike McLean. Now the handoff to Jones, staggers his way across the 40-yard line.
Jones, the ball carrier.
Ryan Jones, he was a converted fullback. This guy, when he delivers a blow, he really delivers it. When you watch him run, he strikes those shoulders very well. He's also a defensive end, so he knows how to get physical.
The Spartans coach Rich Duvall takes the attitude that you've got to play fullback before you can play halfback. That's the end of the first quarter. Central A&M, with a couple of impressive scoring drives, has a 7-point lead at Hancock Stadium.
One of the most amazing things in looking at the statistics for this afternoon's ball game is the fact that St. Joseph's throughout the entire season has not allowed a single point in the second quarter. Meanwhile, the offense has scored 187, but guys, it looks like that shutout streak for the second quarter may be over with the way Perry Jordan's been running today.
If things hold up as they are, Pete, you're absolutely right. Welcome back with Al Harris. I'm Brian Davis, and as he tries to get rid of the ball, Michael Benso is whipped around and abused by Tim Webster. 23 quarterback sacks. He very nearly had another. This is his third start on the turf, and this is a guy who looks like he's playing with that kind of experience.
Yes, he does. I mean, he didn't bite for that play action at all. I mean, he just came shooting through there right at that quarterback. Good job by Webster.
So 4th down and 5 yards. Aaron Reinhart will punt it. A 31.2-yard average. Here are some quick first quarter stats as Reinhart gets the ball away. And Jordan takes it at about his own 20-21-yard line. Slips one tackler, and now he's got some room to operate. Coming near side, Perry Jordan has a chance to go. 30, 20, 10. Touchdown, Central A&M. 80 yards on the punt return. And speaking of lightning, Perry Jordan has brought his. There goes that second quarter shutout streak. And how?
Boy, was that ended in a hurry. Boy, was that ended in a hurry. This guy has just taken over the game in all phases here. Nice punt there. Jordan, he looks to his right. And, oh, Ryan Jones had a chance to wrap him up. He spins, does a nice move out there, and it's off to the races. He has a wall to his left there. All you see is black there.
Terry Maxwell also had a shot at him for St. Joe's. Now here is Rutherford attempting the extra point. Again, 44 attempts, 35 made. Now out of 45. As Central extends its lead to 21-7.
Well, Central has really got focus right now. I mean, when you have a guy like Perry Jordan on your team who can do all the things that he does, I mean, you have a lot of things going for you. Look at all those skulls on the back of his head there. That tells you that he's been doing a lot for that team. Man, I tell you what, great punt return here. As you can see, it's a nice high punt. Good almost spiral there. Now he's going to look to his right. He's going to be walled off there by Jones. Nice fake there, gets his hands up, and a great cutback. No one is there. I mean, that's part of the running back instinct. He looks for that open field. He set him up with that nice cutback.
A guy named Barry Sanders did that a few times yesterday to the Bears.
Yeah, unfortunately, quite a bit.
Al, that is the first ever punt return for touchdown in the 2A title game.
Well, who else should do it but Perry Jordan?
It does make sense, does it not?
That shows you, I mean, that team is an explosive team. Now, what will St. Joe do? You see their coach there, Dick Duvall. He's very worried right now. I mean, they're down by 2 touchdowns. It's still early in the game, and they've really been shell-shocked here.
One of the things that he has liked to do traditionally is establish the fullback, and we have not seen his fullbacks carry the ball yet. Jared Whittick, who is a sophomore, and he is the heir apparent to Jones as that kick sails out of bounds, and once again we'll see what choice the Spartans make. They're going to take the ball, but he likes to establish the fullback to set things up for Jones and set the table. He didn't get much of a chance. One play drive for the touchdown, and then he didn't. They went 3 and out on their second drive, but we'll see whether or not they try to go to number 40 with it.
Yeah, and you know, you don't want the game to get away from you too quick here. You know, you're down by 2 touchdowns, but there's still plenty of time. Right now, they need to get a nice, good, sustained drive. Get their confidence back.
As I say, the St. Joseph squad has been tested this year, but really tested in an unusual way. A 2-0 loss to their rival Kelowna Unity. It's the only point scored as Jones gets around left edge, keeps his feet after 2 pieces of contact. Rutherford makes sure, though, on the 3rd wave that he gets no farther, and a tackle for loss.
Well, I think Rutherford was a little frustrated by his kicking. They showed him earlier on the screen that he's had a couple bad kicks, so I think he had to take it out there on Jones. So he did a great job.
The only point in that Tolona game was scored on a bad snap over the punter's head out of the end zone. They lost that game 2-0. Second down and 10. Jones steps one way, cuts back the other, close to a first down. He's got it.
Tackle by number 12, Justin Dirk.
Once again, here we'll put it in writing now. Perry Jordan with a first in AA title action.
First punt return ever in all the years of high school ball. That's outstanding. I don't think he's done with record breaking yet today.
Ryan Jones. Now here is Whittick. The first time that anybody but Ryan Jones has handled the football for St. Joseph all afternoon.
Number 40, Jared.
Let's go downstairs to Pete Pranica.
Thanks, Brian. One of the things that's a little unusual about the high school game with players going both ways, if you look down on the sidelines, there are no chalk talks, no assistant coaches drawing X's and O's on the sideline. So neither St. Joe nor A&M really making any adjustments. And right now, St. Joe definitely would need to make some adjustments on defense. Guys?
Second down and 3 from the 47. The pitch to Jones. He goes far side, left edge. Bowls his way down across the 40-yard line. He's got the first down.
That was outstanding observation there by Pete. I was talking about making adjustments. It's hard to make adjustments when your guys stay out on the field. And they do need to make some adjustments big time. Now, you know what's also interesting about this, Brian? You talk about wearing a team down offensively, or, I mean, defensively running the football, or you wear, you know, who do you wear down? Do you wear down your offense? Because they're playing defense, a lot of the same guys. Perry Jordan's playing defense on their team. Ryan Jones is also playing defense. So the two stars playing defense.
Tackle on the play by Brad Rutherford. And the pitch to Jones around left edge, gets past Medler, and he is hit and hit hard. Taken down on the play by Josh Monson.
I don't think it would be unheard of today to have two backs who are over 200 yards rushing the way these two guys are running. Ryan Jones, he's just a physical tough back. He almost loses the football there, does a good job recovering. Nice hit there. Does a good job getting him back there. Oh, Perry Jordan almost recovered that too.
Down by contact. Here are Jones's numbers for today. 12 yards a carry. Jones with 84 yards. Jordan with 81 yards.
Yeah, like I said, don't be surprised to see both these teams over 200 yards rushing for both of their stars.
Play clock ran out.
Delay of game on the offense.
See, the important thing for St. Joe right now, they can't afford to get stopped on this. They got to get some confidence back. You know, they've kind of got hit with a counter, you know, a good combination in boxing, as you would say, by Central A&M. So it's very important for them to get something established for a touchdown.
As quickly as St. Joe's scored in its opening drive here, for the record, the remainder of your country company starting lineups. Benso back to pass for the first time today, looking at some pressure, feathers it to the fullback Whittick. He motors and he's tackled from behind. He's taken down. Nice ankle tackle made on that second down play by Jason Churchill, the leading tackler for the Central A&M Raiders. 115 coming into this afternoon's game.
You see Churchill on the line of scrimmage, number 50. He's sitting there. He's reading the play. He's going out to the right. Now, if he doesn't make this tackle, look at the blockers out there. If they seal that off, if he doesn't make that tackle, he might possibly get around that corner and be gone.
Did you see the speed he had? Jared Whittick, 5'8", 189 pounds. He qualified for state Al as a sprinter. Wow. 5'8", 189. Ryan Jones piles into the heart of the A&M line, and here is the A&M defensive line. Once again, Tim Webster, we've talked about him, his third start on turf, 23 sacks. There's Churchill.
It's fourth down for Ogden.
Now we go to the linebacking core in the secondary, and again, a lot of familiar names, guys, that you see also on the board on offense. Fourth down and a yard. St. Joseph will go for it. Jones has it by a good margin, gain of 2 or 3 yards depending on the spot. First down, St. Joe's. The Spartans keep the drive alive.
I tell you what, anytime there's a short yardage play to be made, these two backs are going to make the play. And Ryan Jones, this time, he makes a big play for them to sustain this drive and keep it alive. You know what's a lot of fun is you watch Jones and Jordan, and they're both playing, you know, offense and defense. A lot of times they're hitting each other. It's just interesting to kind of watch a little combination.
Every time they've needed money, they've gone to Jones. He's got all their first downs. Penalty flag on the play on the near side as Jones goes to the far side for about a 5-yard gain. Tackled by Brad Rutherford, moving up from the cornerback. Good fill by the cornerback.
We have a shift infraction on the offense. Player was not set for 1 count before the ball was thrown.
That's Ray DeMerit, your referee today, and the rest of the gang: Bill Book, Ron Clark, Ken Odie, and Robert Walker. Ray and Ken gave us a little help in the field house before kickoff, and so a special thanks to those guys. And look at Ryan Jones. He's a guy that, again, has been given an awful lot of work, and he is beginning to show some signs of that. He looks like he's been here all day long. It's very humid.
I mean, look at those marks on the helmet. They tell you he's been putting a lot of licks into people.
So 1st and long. They get the down. They lose 5 yards. 33-yard line is where the Spartans will start. Fake play action. Now the handoff, and Jones pops 1 tackle. He's got a chance to get around the corner and go. Taken down by Derek Wall. Touchdown saving grab after Jones had eluded 2 tackles on a 31-yard play.
Just like a delayed draw that he ran. I mean, this guy's a big play guy here. See it, he got like a lead draw. He picks a spot there and he cuts back to the left. Good block. Oh, good seal block there. And he's off to the races. Axel Moore made a great block there on Perry Jordan.
Derek Wall came up a little bit lame. 1st and goal at the 1-yard line. And Jones leaps the pile and scores.
Ryan Jones for the touchdown.
St. Joseph will not roll over this afternoon at Hancock Stadium.
No, they won't. And what is the thing we talked about? Dominant defenses. I think their stats defensively are going to change a lot for both teams after this game.
Greg Anderson for the point after. Out of the hold of Matt McKinney. Anderson on the season, 49 of 67 on the PAT kick. It's up and it's good. 50 of 68. St. Joseph responds. Each of these teams has punched the other in the mouth, and we're going to keep on going. Looks like 12 rounds in normal. St. Joseph scoring drive. Ryan Jones on the day, 11 carries, 122 yards. So this is a guy who had 305 yards in the playoff opener against Milford, 329 yards in the quarterfinal against Iroquois West, and against a very good Central A&M defense. He is keeping it going on a very muggy afternoon in the 2A title game. Reinhardt, the kickoff, and it's taken by Rutherford. He's getting some help from Dirks, who puts 1 block on and allows Rutherford to make another 5 or 6 yards on the kickoff return. A 17-yard return for Rutherford, 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line of Central A&M.
Brian, Ryan Jones, he's playing every team. I mean, he's even on kickoff coverage. You know, when I was in high school, I played both ways, and I hardly got off the field except for maybe a couple special teams. This guy's playing every position.
You know, what's interesting about that is that A&M has actually got the fewer numbers. They're only playing about 40 guys as Jordan gains the edge, takes a look, and he is hog-tied and brought down nicely on the play by Joel Mars at cornerback.
Nice tackle by Joe Mars there. They need to make a stand defensively. They need to make a stop. Now, Jordan, he's a tough back to get out in the open field. Nice wrap up there by Mars.
So 40 guys coming here from Moweaqua today. Rich Duvall has got 50-some-odd guys. This is about the deepest team he's ever had. It's funny you talk about Jones playing every team. He says, I've had more depth than I've ever had. So what does that tell you? He'd be out there sweeping the floor if they didn't have more players today. There's Darren Wall.
Ball carrier number 6, Darren
I'll tell you
Wall.
what, the Wall brothers, they're more unsung in this with their blocking and running straight up in the middle. But Darren and Derek Wall have both been keys, big keys to this game.
Well, once again, this offense is pretty much like St. Joseph. The central offense is designed to establish the fullback to open the field for the tailback. Darren Wall averaging, as you see there, a shade over 6 yards a carry this season. His brother Derek just under 6 yards for the season. He's had more pay dirt, Darren Wall has. He scored 12 touchdowns. His twin Derek with 2 touchdowns and first down.
Well, Derek's more of a blocker. I mean, Derek has been the guy that's, if you watch most of these runs, Derek Wall, you'll see number 7 out there on the, when Perry Jordan comes out there on the flat of either side. When he's running outside, you'll see Derek Wall out there making a key block for him to turn that corner or hit on the inside.
Look at the number of first downs that Central has had. 6 more than St. Joe's. Medler, the handoff to Jordan, gets a seam, finds a hole, taken down by Mars. Otherwise, he had a notion. 15 yards.
He's just a glider, just a tall glider, and he had great hold. Look at this hole get open right here. Great blocking there. Good kick-out blocks there, and he's one-on-one with the safety. You don't want to be a safety one-on-one with Mr. Jordan coming at you.
Tackle was made by Wirtz, and Jordan is over the century mark now as well, 102 yards. Jordan, the lone setback. Rutherford split to the near side. The handoff to Jordan, and he is hit and hit hard as he crosses the line of scrimmage. Trent Ryden, number 51, was the guy who made him pay, gain of only about a yard.
Trent Ryden, I mean, he's the one guy that's got 2 good sticks on Perry Jordan in this game. I mean, he's the guy that separated him from the ball the first time, but Perry got it back. I mean, he'll hit you. He gets underneath you, and he'll square you up. If he squares you up, he'll get a good look on you.
Now here's the pitch to Jordan. Good blocking to the near side, but Jordan doesn't get as much as it initially appeared he might, as the Spartans defense swarms and swarms big. And he's taken down by, guess who? Ryan Jones, also Michael Wirtz.
That's right, the two running backs, and they also play defense. They're going after each other here. Ryan Jones said, I got to take this game into my hands a little bit.
A&M, 28 offensive plays, and Jordan is carried 19 times. Now Medler for Dirks. Actually looked like he was looking at somebody beyond that open spot that Dirks stepped right into. Dirks still had a shot at it, couldn't corral it, so 4th down in a punting situation for Central A&M.
What they were trying to do, they were trying to run a quick screen. He was just coming flat down the line to catch the football and run a screen right in the middle. But he just didn't get his hands on it. Pass throw just a little bit too high.
Rutherford puts the ball in the air and gets good leverage into it and into the end zone. Touchback. So a 42-yard punt. And St. Joseph has a chance now to tie this game up. Pete Pranica is downstairs on the field.
Thanks, Brian. Trent Ryden is playing with a lot of emotion today, number 51 for St. Joe. Football, of course, is an emotional game. Today, even more so. Earlier this year, he lost his father to cancer. Trent, broken up by that loss, obviously keeps a memento in his shoes, so a piece of his dad is with him throughout the game. He's playing with a very, very heavy heart, but he's playing very, very well in today's championship game. Guys?
Pete, thank you. That is a great story. That's one of the wonderful things about coming here and learning a little bit about these guys when they get to the doorstep of the very highest level here, the 2A championship game. 3.5 minutes remaining. The clock is running. Central A&M leading St. Joseph 21-14.
Wow, that is a great story. Especially, I mean, he's playing with a lot of fury out there. You know, you can imagine his dad is in his thoughts big time.
No gain on the first down play. Jones, he's having to earn it as he drives into the right side of the Central defensive line on 2nd down.
Well, big key for St. Joe there. They finally had a stop. I mean, Central A&M did pretty much what they wanted to do offensively. They finally had a stop. 2 big stops on Perry Jordan.
Gain of 1, so 3rd and long. Central can bring some heat in passing situations. Benso has lots of time, looking long for Jones. Ball is popped up and it's intercepted. It's tipped by Darren Wall and intercepted by Justin Dirks for the Raiders. Looks like he put a little bit too much air into it.
Michael Benso, he just aired that out. He let it hang, and that happens a lot of times when you're a high school quarterback. And you watch him, it's almost like a punt. He lets that thing just kind of hang and hang, and it gives the guy a chance to break it up.
Really threw it into a crowd, too.
Nice pressure there.
Finally, somebody broke through. Justin Binkley, the nose tackle, broke through and quickly off the first down play, and a swarming tackle made on Perry Jordan.
Tackled by number 5, Joel Mars, and number 51.
By Joel Mars and Trent Ryden.
Mr. Ryden again making his presence felt. Finally, the defenses are starting to play up to their billings here. I mean, they were getting ran over left and right, and suddenly they've tightened up. Maybe those adjustments, they snuck in some adjustments somehow. Michael
Benso, we'll see how his confidence is affected coming back when St. Joe's gets the ball again. 2nd and 5. Jordan strung out along the line of scrimmage, and he is tackled for a loss. Tackled for loss there by Adam Chastain and Steve Bewley.
I'll tell you what, they're coming after it now. Now watch this hit here. I mean, Jordan, he's been dominating left and right. Bewley, and nice stick there by Chastain there. I mean, he chastised him.
Central is 2 of 3 on 3rd down this afternoon. They've got 6 for a first down here at the St. Joseph 45-yard line. Ball is batted down. Speed rush there, and a nice move to knock the ball down by Chris Osterberg, charging in from the end. And once again, St. Joe's defense holds and forces Central into a punting situation.
Well, it looks like the defenses are finally saying enough of this. You know, we play better than this. We've held teams less than 100 points the whole season. We're taking over.
Brad Rutherford to punt for
Osterberg is 6'1", 195 pounds, and he just, I'll tell you what, he just got off his block and put that big paw up, and now the punt angled out of bounds at about the 15, call it the 16-yard line, where once again the Spartans will go on offense.
The defenses have taken over right now. It seems like it took them a quarter and a half to figure out what was going on with each offense, but they're attacking the running backs, making some good plays.
It's a 25-yard punt for Rutherford.
The thing you notice with St. Joe, they adjusted to Perry Jordan's outside rushes. You've seen more than a couple guys waiting for him in those last couple of plays.
I think the idea really is to string the guy to the outside. And once again to the air, and a nice attempt made, but he can't quite hang on to it. The intended receiver there on the play, number 83, that's Greg Anderson. He had some company down the right sideline. And so 2nd and 10 from the 21st St. Joe's tonight on Sports Channel. The Chicago Bulls and the Pacers from Market Square Arena in Indianapolis, Indiana. The game room with Chet Kopic at 6 o'clock, tip-off at 6:30 here on Sports Channel. Michael Benso, 1 of 4 passing this afternoon. This time he puts it back on the ground to Jones. Tries to get around one man, but can't quite, stumbles over the pile. And it'll be 3rd and long once again for St. Joe's.
Well, see, as you can see, the defenses are really kind of rising up to the occasion here.
Justin Binkley, the tackler for the Raiders.
At one point, I was talking about both running backs getting over 200 yards in this game. It still can happen, but right now, both run defenses have been tough.
3rd and 7. Benso fakes the pass, hands off to Jones. The draw play does not work. The Raiders weren't buying that at all. Broadcast rights to today's game have been granted to Sports Channel and Intersport by the Illinois High School Association. Any reproduction or rebroadcast of this event without the written consent of the IHSA, Intersport, and Sports Channel is prohibited.
I think with that, Ryan Jones has some nice feet. I was watching him run that play. Even though he didn't get a first down, he has good, quick feet on the inside for a big guy, a big, tall guy, especially playing defensive end on defense. But on that last play, Mike McLean did a great job. You know, coming up there, they're just getting some good gang tackling there by the Raiders.
Timeout taken. What a great day, huh? If you'd have said at the end of November you'd be able to come out looking like that.
Well, you know, if my son looked like that, I think we'd have to have a little talk afterward.
I am not commenting on the makeup.
No, I'm just
shot,
having a little fun.
The Chicago Sun-Times newspaper network, the official newspapers of the IHSA state championships. And again, this is Championship Friday here at Hancock Stadium at ISU and here on Sports Channel. 19 seconds remaining in the first half. A&M and St. Joseph have really traded some major blows. 55-yard run by Ryan Jones. Perry Jordan's 80-yard punt return to the house. Full block on Dirks. Forces a bad punt, but he gets a good roll. Does Aaron Reinhardt, and so Central A&M's got a ways to go with only 4 seconds remaining in the second quarter.
I don't know if we can get that back on replay, though, but Darren Wall was on, this is a nice rush on the punt, but Darren Wall, when that ball's kicked, he's got to get away from that ball. Nice pressure right up the middle by Dirks.
Yeah, he had to alter it.
Yeah, he looks like he kind of ran away from. Maybe he's afraid to, you know, that he'd run into the kicker with just a short time left to get him the ball there. Now get away from the ball there.
Well, he clearly made Reinhardt alter that thing, though, put it off the side of his foot. Now here is Darren Wall, and he's got a chance to get around the corner as time expires in the first half. Dirk Doring will not let him get any further than that, and so the first half ends, and it has been a great game. Two offensive powerhouses dominated in the first part of the first half, and then two defensive powerhouses showed up to play the rest of the half. So 21-14, Central A&M leading St. Joseph at Hancock Stadium at intermission.
I'll tell you what, two good football games here. I mean, two good football games here.
Pete Pranica is downstairs on the sideline. Pete?
Thanks. We're here with Rich Duval, and how do you feel to be down 21-14 the way Jordan got off?
Well, we just, you know, our up front people just got to get a lot tougher. You know, they're running at will on us, and if we don't learn how to stop them up front, it's going to be a long afternoon as it is. You know, we're lucky to only be down 21-14, so you know, we just got to make a few stops on defense, and then I think offensively, I think we can move the football.
Any adjustments, X's and O's, or just a matter of attitude?
Well, I think a little bit of both, so we'll see.
Okay, good luck in the second half. Well, there's Rich Duval. He feels fortunate to be down just 21-14, but there's a lot of football left to be played. Brian?
Thanks, Pete. Al Harris spoken like a true head coach.
Yes, it is. You can see he was very worried. I think a lot about the attitude part. And, you know, tackling is not a lot. All that is like want to, getting after people, getting good pursuit. And I think he didn't see that with his ball club.
Well, with Pete Pranica on the sidelines and Al Harris, I'm Brian Davis. Glad to have you along. It has been an entertaining game. Don't want you to go away. Halftime entertainment. And then the third and fourth quarters of a very entertaining 2A championship match coming your way on Sports Channel. And on the field at Hancock Stadium, Attitude, which the Illinois High School Association introduced this year as part of a new broad-reaching sportsmanship campaign throughout the state of Illinois. Al Harris, really, you hate to say it, but it's something that they need not just in Illinois, but all over the United States.
They do. I mean, it's you know, if you look at these backs here in this game, they are being bad to the bone right now.
I hear that. I hear that. You know something now, one of the things that we know the referees tell each team before the game is not to start talking any smack. I mean, it's one of the things that they were very specific about when we were downstairs in the field house before we kicked off this ball game today. We know that the referee went over and actually talked to both head coaches and delivered the warning.
Yeah, you have to have good sportsmanship on this, and you have to look all around, not only in high school, but college and the pros. You need to be good sports.
You know, one of the things, though, you look at the way that Central A&M runs its program and the way that St. Joseph runs its program, we didn't see any of that body language. We didn't see any of that in your face. What we saw here in the first half was some really fine football. And again, offenses took the lead early on. The defenses asserted themselves later on.
Yeah, they did. And as I was talking about, Ryan Jones and Barry Jordan both. I mean, just going back and forth, both of them have over 100 yards right now. And the defenses finally rose to the, to the occasion in the second quarter.
One of the things that I think St. Joseph was able to do effectively, and again, the way that they run their defense, it's designed to get penetration up the middle and then force the flow of the play to the edge. You don't want to let somebody get off on you going north and south. And I think in the second quarter, St. Joseph, the Spartans were really able to start accomplishing that more.
Yeah, they were, because, you got to get that pursuit there. You want to get your guys in there to make those good plays on the inside to slow things down.
At the same time, Central A&M, the Raiders defensively, every time, whether it's Jones or anybody else, anytime somebody touches that football, you've got to swarm to the football. These are two really well-coached teams.
They are very well-coached teams. They had to be bothered by their defensive effort, though, at least in that first quarter. They have to say, even though we got better at the end of the second quarter, we got to tighten it down. We can't let the running backs keep having their way with us.
With Al Harris, I'm Brian Davis. We're delighted to have you along on Championship Friday at Hancock Stadium at Illinois State in Normal. When we come back, Pete Pranica in conversation with the IHSA's Marty Hickman as we continue on Sports Channel.
Back at Hancock Stadium in Normal, Illinois, halftime 2A championship game. Moweaqua Central A&M leading St. Joseph Ogden 21-14 at the break. I'm Pete Pranica along with Marty Hickman, Assistant Executive Director of the IHSA. And one of the things that you have been working with, and we saw attitude a little bit earlier, is attitude in the sportsmanship programs for the IHSA.
Right. We've developed a new campaign this year called Attitude, and Attitude is for everyone. And we're working with the Illinois Elementary School Association and Nestle Bike Company to promote sportsmanship in all our member schools.
What was the driving force behind the decision-making process to put a program like this in place?
Well, we've been working on some sportsmanship issues for a number of years now, and we've been trying to bring to the forefront all the positive things that can happen in interscholastic contests. But quite frankly, over the last few years, we've seen things kind of deteriorate. And so I think we're at a point where we felt like we were kind of at rock bottom and needed something to kind of serve as a springboard for a sportsmanship campaign. And we got together with the Nestle Bike Company and the IHSA and came up with Attitude and the Attitude campaign.
And what are some of the components of this program where you do make the outreach to young people?
Well, one of the most important ones is just we're trying to get the message out in front of people, and we're doing it with a candy bar promotion with all our member schools. We're doing it with a mascot that you'll see here at Hancock Stadium this weekend, and then there'll be a variety of promotional materials that we'll send out to member schools to kind of assist them in developing programs to enhance their sportsmanship improvement efforts at schools.
We noticed during the pregame that the officials made a special point of talking to the coaches and the captain, saying, hey, we're not going to tolerate any trash talking, we're not going to tolerate any hot dogging or showboating. Is that also part of this program?
Yeah, it is. We're working with officials. You'll also notice on the officials that they have a sportsmanship patch on, and that's another part of this whole overall sportsmanship campaign we're doing. We think everybody's got to be included. The school administrators, the parents, the officials, the players, the coaches, all the way down the line.
And how well has it been received by everybody?
Well, at this point, we're real excited about it. I think we feel like we've got an opportunity to really make a difference. I think the pendulum's going to swing back our way, and some of the things you see at the collegiate games and the things that you see at the pro games hopefully aren't going to be so evident in the contests that we have here.
Okay, thanks. Marty Hickman, Assistant Executive Director of the IHSA, talking about the Attitude Sportsmanship Program now in place in Illinois high schools. We are at the half 2A championship game. Central A&M leading St. Joseph 21-14. When we come back, highlights from a super entertaining first half.
Welcome back to Hancock Stadium. Central A&M hoping that the third time is the charm. The Raiders' third appearance here, third consecutive appearance in the 2A title game, and they've got the one touchdown lead over St. Joseph of Ogden, Illinois. And welcome back, Brian Davis, along with Al Harris. Man, I'll tell you what, this really was a don't touch that dial affair in the first half.
No question about it. The J&J guys, Perry Jordan and Ryan Jones, both running backs, took over the game.
Big play after big play. We saw a great deal of, I think, really a good word for this, resiliency. Both sides were super resilient. I'll tell you, I'd give the edge in that department, really, though, Al, to St. Joe's.
Yeah, St. Joe, they really did a great job of just coming back, getting themselves back into the game. They were down 21-7 at one point early. They did a great job of recovering.
Well, your resiliency starts when you face adversity early. Let's take a look at some of our first half highlights. First of all, a couple of minus plays for Central A&M. The Raiders don't go to the air very much, but they do here, and they get something big out of it.
They did. Mendler just did a great job there, the effort, and just a great pass there and opened it up for them. Just to get a nice dive there for a touchdown by Perry Jordan, who has really taken over this game for A&M.
But right on the ensuing kickoff, this is the first play from scrimmage. Goodbye.
Yep, there you go. Mr. Jones, he strikes right back. Explosive running that he does, high stepping it into the end zone. Touchdown for them. 55-yard run.
And the extra point made it 7-6 St. Joe's, but A&M run the football, and run the football some more.
There's Mr. Mendler once again meddling with that St. Joe defense. Nice run off the option. Comes right back. Perry hits in there for a touchdown.
And that's the two-point conversion to Darren Wall, who once again is a real nice counterpoint to Perry Jordan. Here into the second quarter, the punt and another see-ya play for Perry Jordan.
Perry Jordan establishes a 2A record here. First punt return ever in 2A, 80 yards. Great cutback run by him, and he just turns on the Jets from there on.
You know, the guy that he really put the hurt on there was his counterpart, Ryan Jones. So Jordan, 80 yards there.
And Jones, he just does a little delayed draw there, cuts back to the left, and he's off to the races. High stepping guy, good feet for a big guy.
Another one of the Wall boys, Derek Wall, saves the touchdown, but not for long.
Jones just dives over. I mean, you have to figure, if either of those guys are close to the goal line, they're going to score.
First half stats, and for a while it looked like it was going to be A&M and a runaway, but not down the stretch. Look how the Spartans came on.
They sure did. They came right back at it. The rushing yards, even though they're behind by 30 yards, you know, they came back. But, you know, time of possession is huge there. Look at the difference there for A&M. They got almost like a 7-minute, you know, total difference there.
Ball control will tell the story in the second half. We'll have it for you. Coming straight ahead with Al Harris, I'm Brian Davis. Raiders by a touchdown. Stay with us on Sports Channel. Ahead of kickoff here in the second half, let's go downstairs to Pete Pranica with Mark Ramsey.
Thanks, Brian. Mark Ramsey of A&M. And Mark, you guys jumped out, a couple of big plays, but then St. Joe comes back. How do you feel your guys responded?
You know, they came back with, you know, some big plays themselves and made a couple good defensive stops. But, you know, we've got to, you know, we got to stop Ryan Jones, and he's a great back. And, you know, we did not a very good job of tackling him a little bit the first half, but hopefully we can keep him contained the second half.
Does the experience against Monticello, a tight ball game, help you today?
Well, I hope so. You know, the kids really sucked it up in the fourth quarter in that ball game, and hopefully I'll carry over.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck. All right, let's go upstairs for the second half.
Well, Pete, you make a good point about the Monticello game. Monticello came back from down 20-0 and then 26-7 to cut A&M's lead to 26-15. A&M ran a reverse play, and its first reverse of the season for a 77-yard touchdown, and put the game away. Dutzman off the kickoff for St. Joseph, and he is strung out and flagged down by Derek Wall and finally knocked down by Justin Dirks. A 12-yard return, first down, and 10 yards to go from the St. Joseph 32-yard line as we begin the third quarter.
Well, that's one of the mistakes you don't want to make there. This one did, is running laterally on a kickoff return. That never works. You always got to take it and hit upfield, get what you can get.
Once again under center, Michael Benso, the handoff to Jones, and he gets a decent gain attacking the right side of Central's defensive line, about 5 yards, second down.
5 yards in the play.
Tackle on the play by Ryan Wells,
37-yard line.
the primary tackler. Got some help on the play from Darren Wall.
Mr. Jones is just thundering through that line right away. It's important coming out of this second half who takes momentum.
And off to Jones, and he motors his way forward, met by Darren Wall, but he is close to a first down.
I think he has it there. Looks like they may come for a measurement, but it looks like he may have this. Mr. Jones, I mean, it's going to be, this is the real important key here, Brian, because whoever comes out of this, usually the first and third quarter will tell you a lot about the game. Whoever establishes momentum in this quarter, that's going to be the difference, I think, in this game.
Ryan Jones has carried the football for 136 yards. That not counting 16 rushes now for 136 to update based on his last carry. He could challenge a record here this afternoon at Hancock Stadium.
Both of these backs seem like they could challenge it. Both are just very explosive. Seems the more explosive back, going the long distance with this team. They
did not get it. 3rd and inches for St. Joseph, approaching the 42-yard line. And here is the fullback, Whittick, and he bulls his way forward for the first down. First and another 10 for St. Joseph. Early third quarter, the Spartans trailing the Raiders of Central A&M by a score of 21-14. Whittick, we mentioned earlier, 5'8", 189 pounds. He qualified for the state track meet as a sprinter. 90 carries on the season, an average of 7.2 yards. He did have a 72-yard touchdown run. Jones to the near side. He is swarmed under after a gain of about 3 yards.
Central A&M met him with a host of players there. That's what they need to do. When you get against a great high school back, you need to gang tackle him. You need to get as many jerseys there of your team as possible, not to give him a chance to break up long one.
Jason Churchill and Ryan Wells were the... Take that back, Bob Hogan. Wells plays for St. Joe's. Bob Hogan, the tacklers for Central. There's Tim Webster. 91 tackles on the season coming in. Now the fake handoff, not fine. Ball is out, and it's recovered by Central A&M. Benso was hit and hit hard, lost the handle on the football, and a turnover puts Central A&M in great position.
Tim Webster came up the field and made a great play to strip him of the ball. Tim Webster has, on the stats, it says he has 23 sacks. And you can see why right here. It strips the ball from Benso right there. Great play for them.
Justin Dirks with an interception in the first half, and now a critical fumble recovery in the second half. 1st and 10 Raiders at the 42-yard line of St. Joseph. Here's Darren Wall. Gets a great block around the right end and down to the 20-yard line as he is hammered down by Michael Wirtz. A 17-yard gain. Great energy for the Raiders off the sudden change.
Now, the Wall brothers, as we talked about earlier, they're kind of more the unsung heroes, but watch this run. Watch this stiff arm right here at the end. Just, bang, just puts it right underneath his chin, and it actually gets him about an extra 2 yards there.
At the 20. The handoff to Jordan up the middle. Look at him go. Like a hot knife through butter inside the 10-yard line. 1st and goal A&M.
You know what that was about there? Jason Churchill, Tim Webster, and Stewart. They're just blowing a big hole up there, right up the middle. Look at that. They just sealed it off. Nice block there by Monson also. 57. That was a great block by the interior line.
Experience on the A&M offensive line was identified by both these coaches before the game as a potentially huge factor. Lone setback is Darren Wall. He takes. He is met almost immediately across the line of scrimmage.
Well, see, this is a huge, huge series here for St. Joseph Spartans. If they score on this play after a devastating turn of events right there. This could be, as far as momentum, big-time trouble for the Spartans.
This is a team that has only put the ball on the ground now 4 times all season and lost it to the other guy. 4 fumbles lost. Here are Jordan's numbers. 2nd and goal from the 6-yard line. And the pitch to Perry Jordan around the right edge. He will score. Perry Jordan's 4th touchdown of the afternoon, and Central A&M cashes in on the turnover by the Spartans.
I'll tell you what, Perry Jordan, I mean, he has really been, I mean, you can't say he's been the dominant back because both of them have been great. Morris has a shot at him. You got to wrap him up right there. Morris had a shot at him. Also, Ryden tried to wrap him up, but it was too late. He had that momentum going into the end zone.
Brad Rutherford will attempt the extra point. And the kick is good. It is a 2-touchdown lead for Central A&M, and you can thank that man right there. 28-14, early 3rd at Hancock Stadium. Welcome back as we take a look at the play that keyed the last touchdown for Central. Big hit laid on there by Tim Webster, and Justin Dirks recovers.
And as you see over here, you get it out on the outside there with a dangerous back like Perry Jordan. Just cuts back up in there, gets those shoulders leaning forward. It's a touchdown. But we can't forget Tim Webster, who's one of their captains, made a huge, huge play to strip that ball out.
Perry Jordan's 4 touchdowns puts A&M 1 shy as a team and puts Perry Jordan 1 shy as an individual of the title game record of 5 touchdowns. Rutherford's kickoff again to the near side. Corey Dutzman at about the 23-yard line. Behind a wall of blockers, but a gang of tacklers come for A&M. And he fails to reach the 35-yard line on a 13-yard kickoff return.
I mean, you look at the numbers here. Jordan and Jones are basically even, except on the touchdowns. And, you know, that's the big key. Whose defenses are making the stops right now. Now, this is the worst thing that could have happened to St. Joe, coming out here and getting a fumble off the opening series when they need to score to tie the game up. Let's see how they react.
Well, we talked about this team being plus 34 on the turnover table. That is unbelievable. And so for that to happen is such a critical play as Jones is hammered down at the line of scrimmage. You know, that's just something that we'll go back to the resiliency factor. Does St. Joseph have enough?
Yeah, that's where you're seeing the momentum right there take over, because they're just coming after him right now. Dirk's in there, a whole host of guys in there making the plays. And see, when you get excited, you're up by 2 touchdowns, you know the championship's on the line, you're going to be a lot more fired up.
Offset eye, Justin Binkley got credit as the primary tackler on the last play as Benso goes to the air. He's looking, and the ball is tipped by Darren Wall, as he had eyes, Benso did, for his tight end, Chris Osterberg.
Darren Wall's playing an outstanding game. Obviously, you know he's going both ways. He's made some big-time runs underneath. And here you go, right down the seam. And look at him, you see him eyeing the ball up. The ball is hanging up there a little too far. Benso is letting it hang up there. He needs to get a little more velocity underneath that ball.
So 3rd and officially 9, but it's really 10 yards. It's a very long 9 yards for St. Joseph, operating from its own 35. Benso now looking for his flanker, and he's got the tight end. That's Osterberg again. Osterberg with an important reception inside Central A&M territory. A 26-yard pass play as Benso goes back to his tight end and makes it work.
Went right back to him, do a little play action, sends the tight end on like a route to the flag. And see, Wall kind of took his eye. He kind of got lost there. He looked back, and the tight end got away from him.
1st and 10 from the Central A&M 39, and once again the pass. This is to Doring. Doring slips 1 tackle, can't elude the swarm that follows, but he still makes some positive yardage. He's close to a 1st down.
Benso has made 2 big-time throws here. I'm telling you what, if they didn't make that 3rd down, I think that might have been the game from the momentum standpoint, but now they're coming right back. They're getting their crowd into the game, getting a little more excited.
They're moving the chains. 1st down, St. Joseph on the drive. They trail by 14. A little bit more than 4 minutes gone, third quarter here in the 2A title game. Now the delayed handoff, the draw to Jones, puts a hand down, keeps his feet, and he's finally tackled, roll blocked by Justin Dirks, and then covered up by Perry Jordan and Darren Wall.
Ryan Jones, this shows you what kind of back he is. I mean, as far as doing things, he does what we call the three-legged drill. And you say, what's the three-legged drill? He's running with two, and all of a sudden there goes that hand, gets the runner right back up there, makes additional 5 to 7 yards.
Ryan Jones, great run through the playoffs. As we pause for a measurement, reminds the coach Rich Duvall, looks like not more than the nose of the football. Rich Duvall says this whole experience for St. Joe's is so deja vu it's almost scary. We'll explain after we get downstairs with Pete Pranica.
I am down here on the St. Joe sideline, and you can hear behind me that their fans are really raising a roar. I was on the other side a few minutes ago when it appeared that A&M was going to be able to put on a stop defensively, but a flag on the play. Brian?
Let's take a look at the call on that one. Must have been some kind of motion. I looked for the play clock. Let's see as the referee, Ray Demerit, confers with his linesman, Robert Walker.
There is no penalty as the player moved before the ball was declared ready for play.
All right, I wondered
Still
about that.
second down.
I wondered about that because I looked at the play clock and it had just begun. So they had not
That was a big break for him right there.
blown the clock. And now the handoff on 2nd and inches.
That was a big break there because, you know, if they would have got penalized on that, they would have taken themselves out of a sure first down, as you saw they just made just here.
Something that has sort of threaded through the Spartans season is some detraction. People say, well, hey, look, they're in the Illini Central Conference. Central A&M is in an admittedly tougher loop, the Okaw Valley, for the first season, by the way. And some people say, well, you know, who have these guys from St. Joe's really played? Well, the fact of the matter is that they have been in some fist fights. And I think this afternoon, the Spartans have really shown the stuff of which they are truly made.
Yeah, I tell you what, they need to get back in there. They need a score here. They cannot afford to not get a touchdown on this play. 1st and 10 at the Raiders 17. Jones chased down from behind and then buried on the play. Wow. What a hit by Darren Wall. Tim Webster caught him from behind, and then Darren Wall went horizontal. Now they string him out here, and Jones is a physical runner, and he hits the wall, Darren Wall, and I mean he got unloaded on. Wham! What a hit. That is a perfect tackle. After a 3-yard gain, Benso takes a look now, loops back, he's got some room to run, and he's going to score. Touchdown, St. Joseph. You know what it looks like here? Mr. Mike Benso, he fumbled that ball. You know he felt bad. He put his team down. All of a sudden, he took over on that drive. 2 big pass plays when they needed him, and he runs in for a touchdown. Mike Benso had a rough patch at the end of the regular season and the start of the playoffs where he threw a number of interceptions. Greg Anderson on for the point after. He sort of settled down then in the quarterfinal and semifinal round. The kick is up and it is good. So once again, the Spartans are back within 7 of the Raiders. So Benso went through a little bit of personal adversity, got his focus back, and once again, in a moment's time, after giving Central A&M the ball in great position, he rallies from that. And that shows you a champion's heart. You know, I mean, they didn't have this great record for no reason, and that shows you he could have dropped his head down and said, "Oh, I let my team down. We're not going to win this game." But no, what does he do? He comes back and makes big plays. Rich Duvall and the Spartans were here in 1989. I mentioned earlier, he says this is so deja vu, it's almost scary. That year in '89,
like he's got Ryan Jones at 1,000+ yards. The playoffs, he had Justin Royer at 900 yards. In the postseason alone, they had 3 home games in the playoffs in 1989. They had 3 home games in the playoffs this year on the home field in Ogden. Now, Rich Duvall says Michael Benso there, and the rest of his guys are getting tired of hearing him talk about the 1989 team. In fact, not too long ago, they made up a banner and hung it in the coach's office that said the 97 team. Unspoken in that was the message, shut up, coach. Here is Rutherford off the kickoff.
Boy, did he get nailed on that. Wow, what a hit on that kickoff.
Hammered down after an 18-yard return. Now let's take a look.
This is the big key here. Nice
passing play, yeah.
He airs that out. Odeberg's there, makes a big catch on a 3rd down. That was crucial. If they don't make that play, I think it's over for them in this game.
Jeremy Medler ducks under center for the wishbone running Central A&M Raiders. 1st down. And across the line of scrimmage, I believe that was, yes indeed, Darren Wall. From our vantage point, he was closed down so quickly it was hard to get the number on him. There's Mark Ramsey contemplating his next move after a gain of 3 for his fullback Darren Wall. And once again, they use the fullback to establish the running game and open things up for the tailback. Dirks in motion to the near side. And look at that. Stood up. Medler tried to just take it himself. Don't know if there was a problem there, Al, on the exchange or what. Our angle was not good, but Ryan Wells, among others, was right there to say, not this time. No, he was just going all the way.
He just took that in on his own. I mean, I don't know what caused him to look in. He didn't try to stretch it to see if he had the play.
So 3rd and 5. A&M has been decent on 3rd downs this afternoon. Medler this time will go to the air. And looking for McClain, and he is separated from the ball by Corey Deutschman. McClain had the ball and then was hammered by Corey Deutschman. I think that might have turned the tight end's eyes blue. One blew this way and the other blew that way. What a knock by Deutschman.
Yeah, Deutschman, and he's not a big guy, but if you get a guy extended like that, this is when you go back to your quarterback and say something to him. Right underneath the ribs, gets the wind partially knocked out of him. Big play.
Not on my watch.
Now, this is a big thing here, Brian. Big key, the momentum change here suddenly.
4th and 5. Decent rush. Rutherford pops it up and he shanks it. The ball bounces and St. Joseph will get the ball in Raiders territory.
Rutherford has had problems kicking and punting the ball all day, and this may come back to haunt him later on.
After a 19-yard punt, do you remember earlier when they put a hard rush on him? I wonder whether or not that maybe now has gotten inside his head a little bit. You got to remember these are high school players who can be toyed with that way, son.
It could be, and also, I mean, I don't know if he's getting tired physically. You know, he's playing cornerback, and who knows?
Out of the eye and to the air, and a nice ball. Wow. Great play, bang, bang, Benso to Greg Anderson.
Greg Anderson, great hands by Greg Anderson. Benso is starting to get in a rhythm here. It's all of a sudden, it's like ever since he got stripped of that fumble, he's kind of woke up and said, I better do something in this game. Nice play there. Nice, good hands.
Benso got off to a rough start. 1 of 4. He's got 4 receivers now that he's delivered the ball to, and now he's looking for Whittick. Might be 5. I can't remember whether Whittick has caught a pass earlier today. He has. So Whittick near the 1st down. It'll be 3rd and short for the Spartans. But again, 4 different receivers. This is a ball control offense that, you know what, they kind of get the idea from the University of Illinois.
Yeah, they do.
And, you know, Ron Turner has got that thing going now in Champaign. Didn't have the results this year. but Rich Duvall liked it enough to put it in himself. And oh, look at this seam. Here's Whittick. He's gone. Jared Whittick. Touchdown on a 39-yard blast across the line of scrimmage. 3rd and short. Central A&M was probably expecting something modest, and they got something very different.
Well, that's what happens when, you know, they've been given a steady diet of Ryan Jones, Ryan Jones, Ryan Jones. They got behind. All of a sudden, Benso comes out and takes over the game. Nice quick hitter up beneath there. Whittick, a sprinter. No one's going to catch him.
Pending the extra point. Tough snap. Good placement. Kick is up. It's good. We're tied. 3 minutes, 40 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. We thought we were going to have a track meet today, and that is exactly what we have gotten.
I mean, that shows you once again, just, you know, Benso has really been the star in the second half passing, but nice quick hitter up there. Whittick just takes off right up the middle. No one's there. They're probably spread out thinking they're going to get Jones on the outside. He hits right up the middle. Quick 6.
56 points total. And we're not even through the 3rd quarter. Is a new 2A title game record.
I'm telling you, this is just something that, you know, is just happening all over again with these guys. You know, when you look at this game, it's momentum. You know, all of a sudden it looks like, bam, Central A&M's going to blow them out. Then all of a sudden the Raiders come back. I mean, excuse me, not the Raiders, the Spartans come back and they strike.
Mark Ramsey talked about Monticello's rally in the semifinal game, and look at the St. Joe's fans now in the far stands. Good boot taken by Dirks. He's got a seam. He's got a chance. He gets to midfield, and he is finally bowled down. Justin Dirks puts Central A&M back in business with a 49-yard kickoff return. Wow!
Explosive kickoff return. This is just what they need. Justin Dirks, he needed to give them the momentum swing back, and this is what he does. He hits it right up the middle. Good blocking there, gets into the wedge and just explodes right up the middle of that hole. Almost breaks it. Who makes a play? Ryan Jones.
Out of the wishbone. Medler barking out the signals. From the 48, Perry Jordan dances his way for about 6 yards before he is taken down. On the kickoff return also, the wedge took the defenders a little bit right, and Dirks never quite went there. He never meant to follow his blockers. The whole idea was to set the seam, and boy, did they ever.
Yeah, he exploded out of there pretty well. Now they see if they can get their momentum back all the way.
2nd and 5. Out of the eye, the handoff to Jordan after the fake to Darren Wall. Let's go downstairs to our compadre, Pete Pranica.
Thanks, Brian. You know it's a tight game and a great game. You look at the bench, there's nobody sitting on the bench. Everybody is right at the edge of the restraining line, helmet on, cheering on their teammates. After that last touchdown, the Spartans with a rhythmic chant, slapping their hands, slapping their thighs, urging their teammates on in a 28-28 tie.
Gain of 1, Peter. 3rd and 4 at the 42-yard line. And the pitch to Jordan, and he's going to lose his footing, and down he goes. Great pressure across the line on the play. Ryan Housley knifed in, and there was disruption at a number of different points along the line of scrimmage.
As you watch here, Dutzman there, I tell you what, they're very fortunate. If he doesn't lose his footing, he's off to the races there. They had a nice heel block on the corner. I don't know why he went on the inside on that, but they were very fortunate that he lost his footing.
Chris Osterberg had a lot to do with the way that turned out. 4th down, loss of 2, 4th and 6, and once again Rutherford will punt. This time, good kick straight ahead, bounces ahead of the 20-yard line and then sneaks back to the 19. So St. Joseph will have 81 yards to go.
You know, that's one thing I love about the high school game. The momentum can change so quickly. You have the fans in there, and kids are very emotional, and things can happen so quickly to change the focus of this game.
My bad, the 14-yard line. They actually spot the ball at the 15, so 1st and 10 and 85 yards to go for the Spartans. Inside 2 minutes now for the third quarter. And Jones sneaks around. He was trying to slip behind the block of Jared Whittick, and he was sniffed out well by the defensive line.
Central A&M has made a good job adjusting to Ryan Jones in the second half. You notice he hasn't had nearly as much room to run, but also you have to credit St. Joe for adjusting and giving the ball to their quarterback, knowing that they're coming up challenging Jones. Now they're throwing the football, getting some big plays.
Josh Monson and Justin Dirks, the tacklers on that play. Gain of 3. Little jumping on the line. Everybody gets back. No harm, no foul. Jones bounces and then comes outside and gets buried on the play by Darren Wall.
And also Justin Dirks came in there to help him out. You need more than one guy to bring Ryan Jones down.
Gains a couple, so it's 3rd and 5. Rich Duval. Can't make the play for his guys. They've got to do it themselves. He calls a pass play. Benso swing pass sniffed out, and he is hammered for a loss by Jeremy Medler.
Medler, the quarterback, came in there, also playing corner, made a great play there. I mean, he just came up there and just made just a tremendous play.
So Aaron Reinhardt will have to punt the ball from near his own end zone as the third quarter expires. We'll switch ends, and then the Spartans will punt it back to the Raiders. We're through 3, and we are tied in the 2A title game at Hancock Stadium in Normal. They're back on their feet for St. Joseph. The Spartans trailed by 2 touchdowns, but have come back to tie the favored Central A&M Raiders. Aaron Reinhardt on 4th and 8 will have to punt it from near his own goal line. He will punt it to Perry Jordan, who has already scored 4 touchdowns this afternoon, one of those on an 80-yard punt return.
Dangerous Perry Jordan. See, and anytime the momentum can change, they need the cover.
Snap bounces. Reinhardt gets a decent kick away, but it will bounce, and Jordan will let it go. The ball dies right at midfield. Look at the one guy. Come on, a couple more. 35-yard punt, and Central A&M will take it on offense.
You know, that plays into their favor, actually, even though it wasn't a great punt. At least you keep it out of Mr. Jordan's hand.
I want to say thanks here to a couple of guys that are working with us in the booth. Brian Dyer is our spotter today, and David Berkson is our stat guy who has burned out one calculator, and his fingers are bleeding from all the work that he has had to do in what has really often been a track meet. You ever tried doing stats in a game that develops quickly like this? It's enough to make you crazy, which is probably why he is.
He's done a wonderful job up there. I mean, these guys are just, I mean, this is what helps us a lot.
Perry Jordan needs 10 more carries. As we take a look at your game summary, Jordan, Corey Dutzman coming off the field, or coming to the near side now on defense for the Spartans. Perry Jordan needs 10 more carries to break the title game record. 38 is what he's shooting for. Darren Wall, the fullback, gets some good pile driving, and he gets about halfway to the next stick. Let's go downstairs as the rain starts to fall on Pete Pranica.
And trying to stay dry just a little bit, but if you see over here, there's a sign that's been put up by the folks from A&M. 48 minutes to play, a lifetime to remember. Remember, guys, neither school has won an Illinois State Championship. A&M has come close. Today may be the day. Brian?
The handoff to Jordan. Pete, thank you. Down.
This is what you want to do if you're Central A&M. You know, run some time off the clock. You know, get a nice, long time-consuming drive and punch it in for a touchdown. That
was the linebacker Ryan Housley, 3rd and 3 from the St. Joe's 43-yard line. Medler will keep it. Medler has room. Medler runs into his own blocker across the 25-yard line.
If he doesn't run into him, it's his touchdown right there. He ran into Tim Webster.
That's an 18-yard play. Now remember, these guys are operating at it. Did he have room to pitch the ball to the trailer, Jordan?
It looks like he does, but I mean, there's no one out there. It could have been a touchdown. You get in your best runner's hands, but I guess he saw the opening and he just hit back up in there.
Well, he had Dutzman settling down. In any case, an 18-yard play, first down now at the Spartans' 24-yard line. And the handoff to Jordan. And the power move for about 5 or 6 yards.
Well, see, this is what they need to do, get a nice time-consuming drive. They don't want to get a real fast-scoring drive because St. Joe can answer right back because I think they have a better passing game. So they have to get a nice time-consuming drive, get some time off the clock for St. Joe's to make possibly an errant throw or errant run.
Gain of 5, Adam Chastain for Rich Duvall on the tackle. Ball is resting inside the 20. Medler with Jordan now swinging in motion, fakes the handoff to Darren Wall and takes it himself, dives forward, not quite to where he needs to be for the first down. The wishbone is something, you know, you still see it, not so much on the college level, of course, anymore. But the wishbone is still something that lives in the high schools. Later today in Metamora, we will see a true option team in the 4A game that you, Al, and I will do later on tonight. And it's interesting. Boy, I'll tell you, sometimes you have to really game plan for an awful lot as a high school coach because you see so many different things. Receivers split to the near side. Jordan gets the pitch. He gets a good seam, gets good blocking. Ball is out. The ball is recovered in the end zone. Let's see what the call is. Down by contact inside the 5-yard line. First and goal, A&M. 16-yard gain for Perry Jordan.
Now the referees are catching it from the St. Joe fans right now. The important thing you want to see is his knee down before, you know, the ball gets out of there. Now, as you can see, they have great blocking there. He explodes back to the center of the lane. Look to see if that knee is down. Oh,
I don't think so.
They'd have to see. It was tough to see on that angle because
but the thing you got to remember is you can't see everything in traffic like that. And the guy who was near the ball carrier's back was to the official, and now Jordan finishes it off. Touchdown.
Just nice running there. I'll tell you what, they just came in there and just took it right down the field. They did what they had to do. They did what they had to do. They got the running game going. They ran some time off the clock, put in Jordan's hand once again.
Perry Jordan's 5th touchdown of the afternoon. That is a new state title game record. We have seen some fall this afternoon. Rutherford, the extra point. Is good. 35-28. Central A&M regains the edge with 8 minutes and 25 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter.
Well, Jordan is such a big part of their whole team. I mean, on the punt return you saw earlier today, the running has done a great job there. As you see the coach there still giving the referee a little buzz about that play earlier, but that doesn't matter right now. The score, they got to come back and tie the game up.
With Al Harris, I'm Brian Davis, and Pete Pranica working the sidelines.
Thanks, Brian. Mark Ramsey, probably the coolest guy in Hancock Stadium right now. You know, they say if you don't want to showboat, don't spike the ball when you get to the end zone. Act like you've been there before. Well, you know, he's acting as a coach like he's been here before, and he has. He says you never get tired of it. It never gets old. But he's closing in on his first state title, but he's very calm, very composed. You have to believe, Brian, that will rub off on his players as we play the last 8:25.
Mark Ramsey's 4th appearance overall, and again, 3rd consecutive. There is Perry Jordan's accomplishment. He ties the title game record with 4 rushing touchdowns, but he has scored 5, and we've not seen that.
Pete has brought up a good point, too, is the composure of the coach. A lot of players look to the coach to see how the coach reacts during trials, and that is a big observation by Pete because that does help your players stay calm on the sidelines. and keep their focus.
Once again, Mark Ramsey, this is his 15th year at Moweaqua at Central A&M High School. The last 13 he's been in the playoffs. Dutzman takes it for St. Joe's. Hangs on to the ball as the strip is attempted by Jacob Elder, and he works his way to the 30-yard line. Football this afternoon, basketball tonight on Sports Channel. The Bulls and the Pacers at Indiana. The game room at 6 o'clock, and then tip-off from Market Square Arena in Indianapolis at 6:30. And on Sports Channel Plus tonight, the 3A and 4A high school championship games from Hancock Stadium. 1st and 10. Here is Jones, left side, first down.
Boy, oh boy, he was just one step away from popping that. If he kept his balance, he would have went for 6. Jones is, I would say, you know, both of them are explosive, but I mean, he really seems like he's going to go the distance every time he touches the football. But both defenses have done a good job, for the most part, of keeping the running backs in check. They ran at will in the first half.
Jason Churchill, the tackler on the last play. You know, interesting, I mentioned earlier, he is the leading tackler. Here's the fullback, Whittick. He's the leading tackler for the Raiders. That's a rare thing to have a defensive tackle as your #1 guy on that stat sheet.
No doubt about it. Now, this is a key now. You look in here, it's going down to 7:45 right now. They need to go right back and score a touchdown. In this type of game, the way the offenses are scoring right now, Brian, I don't know if you can afford to punt it. You may not get it back in time to score and at least tie the game up.
When you consider out that Central's first 2 scoring drives were 5 and 6 minutes in that range, as Jones motors around on 2nd down the left edge, gains about 3, maybe 4. We'll see how they spot it. He's still shy of midfield. They need to get to just past the Central 49-yard line for a first down. It'll be 3rd and about 4.
This is going to be interesting to see how they play this up right here. I wouldn't be surprised to see this actually in Benso's hands. 3rd and 4.
Biggest 3rd down. They are 3 of 9, the Spartans are, and Benso drops back to pass. He's looking. The ball is tipped. The ball is tipped as he looks for his tight end, Osterberg.
And who is it probably tipped by? Mr. Jordan again.
It was Perry Jordan.
This guy, you know, I mean, if they win the game, I guess you know he's going to be MVP. That's leaves little to be said. It's 4th down here.
Now, Reinhardt, the punter, well, he's on anyway, but I think they're going to run a play. They are indeed.
Yeah, they're going for this because I think they realize the way that offense is moving, they got to make a play.
4th and 4. Benso under center, 3 receivers left side. Stutter steps, pops. Jones is hit by McLean. And now they have a couple of words, but a big pass breakup for McLean. Mike McLean disrupts Ryan Jones on 4th down. The ball goes over on downs to A&M.
And it looks like Benso's getting chewed out a little bit by the coach. Maybe he didn't recognize the read there that he wanted them to see. They had 3 receivers on one side of the field. That's that Illinois passing game they learned probably from Ron Turner, and he didn't see the correct read on that.
Well, and he hitched, too. If you'll notice, just before he released the ball, there was a hesitation in his move. In any case, it's 1st and 10 at the 48-yard line for A&M. Medler to Darren Wall. Around left edge, Michael Wirtz and Corey Dutzman. Well, wrap him up is not quite the right word. They bring him down, but he gets another 3-4 yards after they send him sprawling. Darren Wall has really been a key today for Central's offense.
As you see here, they give it to Wall. Wall's been playing a great game today. Hits on the inside. Good stiff arm there by Wall. That gives him another, look at that, gave him about 7 yards there. Good fundamental plays there. Good stiff arm. He used that hand, that 3-legged drill we talked about to give him a few extra yards there.
Just shy of 1st down, so it will be 2nd and less than a yard. 6.5 minutes, a little bit more than that. 6:33 to be exact, fourth quarter, so a little bit more than half the quarter to play.
Well, as you notice right there, well, I mean, he's right at his average, 6.2. That's been his average pretty much for the year. I mean, he's right where he should be. And, you know, this is a big key series here. St. Joe has to get a stop here. They have to also be concerned by the time they're down by 7. They have a ball control team that eats up the clock. They have to make their stops.
Let's go back to the fourth down play where Mike McLean disrupted the pass. First down there on the carry by Perry Jordan. In the Monticello game, again won by the Raiders 33-30. Monticello rallies. Touchdown, A&M fumbles. Big play, A&M fumbles. Mark Ramsey said, you know, our defense was actually only out of position one time, but it nearly killed us. This time they're in position and they are making the thing happen.
Yeah, they are. They are making it happen right now, and they need to make it happen with that offensive line and just really take control of this game.
Ball's at the St. Joseph 37-yard line. Darren Wall is hit at the line of scrimmage, but then surges forward. Steve Bewley hit him low at the line of scrimmage, but then he carries on and gets decent yardage, about 6. The Chicago Sun-Times newspaper network, the official newspapers of the IHSA state championships. Welcome back to normal, where things have been anything but in this 2A title game.
I like that.
If you haven't enjoyed this, you don't have a pulse. The delayed handoff to Derek Wall. And he knifes forward, got a man down. That's Trent Ryden. Gets
Nice
up,
counter play there.
maybe a stinger. Look at the way he's favoring Ryden, is favoring his left arm.
Yeah, he is, but he's going to gut it out. As we know, he's went through something a lot harder than his arm being hurt, as it's the loss of his father. He's going to play this thing out to the end.
3rd down and 2. It's been a while since A&M was stopped for a loss. Darren Waldo this time gets stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Let's see where they spot the football.
He's definitely going to be short the way they're lining up right now. Now it comes to be a 4th down. Do you punt it or do you go for it?
No gain.
I don't know. I think I would punt this ball, because with 4 minutes left, you give them a longer field to go, you know, to drive down the field. But I guess they have a lot of confidence in their running game.
Well, the answer is no. Jordan and the brothers Wall in the wishbone. Now they shift. Jordan in the tail. St. Joseph anxiously awaiting the snap, and Mettler has to call timeout. And we will break with a little less than 4 minutes remaining. A&M by 7 in the 2A title game at Hancock Stadium. Perry Jordan has 172 of A&M's 274 rushing yards. St. Joe 233 on the ground. Ryan Jones 174 of those. 4th down and inches, and I don't know. Ball may have come out as well. St. Joseph signaling for a turnover. If it's not a turnover, it surely looks like 1st down St. Joseph. Let's see what the call is. In the end, it's moot. Got a man down.
You know what, Brian? I mean,
1st down, St. Joe's. Now let's have a look here. Did he fumble it away? That was Jordan.
Well, that ball definitely squirted out before he hit the ground. Just turned it over. It was on downs anyway. He was stopped. He wouldn't have made it anyhow.
Exactly. One way or the other, St. Joe's ball. They've got less than 4 minutes with which to work. Ryan Jones, left edge to the 30, gets a big block. Looking at midfield, Darren Wall stops him just shy. 16-yard gain. Ryan Jones starts this drive with a bang. They need 7 to tie.
Now you watch him hit this corner. Good kick out block there. And he's just going to turn that up. And Wall's the only guy left back there between him and pay dirt.
This is a special report from Fox Sports News.
Good afternoon. I'm John Walls at the Fox Network Center. We're about to take you to Ogden, where former Golden State Warrior forward Latrell Sprewell is talking in public for the first time since his altercation with Coach P.J. Carlesimo. Let's now go to Oakland, where Sprewell and his representatives are about to comment on his situation.
Bimbo Coles, Brian Shaw.
I would punt this ball because with 4 minutes left, you give them a longer field to go, to drive down the field. But I guess they have a lot of confidence in their running game.
Well, the answer is no. Jordan and the brothers Wall in the wishbone. Now they shift. Jordan in the tail. St. Joseph anxiously awaiting the snap, and Mettler has to call timeout. And we will break with a little less than 4 minutes remaining. A&M by 7 in the 2A title game at Hancock Stadium. Perry Jordan has 172 of A&M's 274 rushing yards. St. Joe, 233 on the ground. Ryan Jones, 174 of those. 4th down and inches, and I don't know. Ball may have come out as well. St. Joseph signaling for a turnover. If it's not a turnover, it surely looks like first down St. Joseph. Let's see what the call is. In the end, it's moot. Got a man down.
You know what, Brian? I mean,
first down St. Joe's. Now let's have a look here. Did he fumble it away? That was Jordan.
Well, that ball definitely squirted out before he hit the ground. Just turned it over. It was on downs anyway. He was stopped. He wouldn't have made it anyhow.
Exactly. One way or the other, St. Joe's ball. They've got less than 4 minutes with which to work. Ryan Jones left edge to the 30, gets a big block. Looking at midfield. Darren Wall stops him just shy. 16-yard gain. Ryan Jones starts this drive with a bang. They need 7 to tie.
Now you watch him hit this corner. Good kick out block there, and he up and Wall's the only guy left back there between him and pay dirt. Now this shows you now the field is shortened because they didn't punt the football, so now they have a better opportunity to score.
Ryan Jones got a big block from Chris Osterberg. This time Jones goes off left tackle and he is driven down by Mike McLean. 6 feet, 170 pounds. He plays tight end going the other way, and he is built like a brick outhouse. He has got some muscle.
Yeah, you got some muscle guys there, but this is now it's down to counting. It's about 3:15 left in the game. They're fortunate they have a good quarterback that can throw the ball like Benso. But time is a big factor here.
Dutzman split to the near side. Osterberg in motion to the near side. Jones takes the handoff on 2nd down and once again fails to gain much.
Now you know he's been playing both ways a lot, and right there you wonder, he's made a lot of big runs today. Does he still have the energy left? You would think so with 2 minutes and 40-something seconds left in the game between the championship and being second place.
Central has been averaging nearly 306 yards a game rushing the football. Now here's Benso back to pass. Jordan gets a hand on him. The ball is up, and McLean knocks down Whittick. But Whittick had a hand on it. No flag. Big stop.
Big stop. They got great pressure in there also. A good rush on Benso that made him throw it earlier than he wanted to. It didn't allow him to get in a good position to throw. As you watch the replay here, he's going to get good pressure there by Jordan. He gets around him. Jordan's just been making big plays the whole game. I mean, just on punt returns, defense, as well as offensive, as everyone knows.
4th and 6 to Two receivers far side, one near side. Benso tries to take it himself on fourth down, and he comes nowhere close.
Well, what they tried to do on that, Brian, they tried to spread them out. They got everyone wide outside. I think they had 4 wide receivers on that. And obviously he didn't do what the coach wanted him to do, but they tried to spread it out and just do a quarterback draw up there. That's very tough to do from 6 yards out, though.
2 minutes and 21 seconds remaining, fourth quarter. Benso was just swarmed underneath. Both these teams well below their season averages running the football, or at least notably below. Again, A&M averaging 306 yards a game. St. Joseph averaging not quite 260. The handoff to Darren Wall. Gets the left edge. He uses that stiff arm of first down.
Now time plays a really, really big key factor here. They just ripped off a first down. Spartans have 3 timeouts. Raiders 2.
First down. Darren Wall. Again, Perry Jordan has been the point, but in a major way, Darren Wall has been the counterpoint.
Darren Wall's been used both offensively and defensively. He stood up big time. But you got 2 minutes left now. You got the Spartans who are on defense right now. They have 3 timeouts.
Rutherford and Derek Wall. Derek Wall in the slot, out of the eye, the handoff to Jordan.
What you got to do if you're the Spartans, you got to get the ball out of their hands. You got to try to get one guy grab it, another guy strip him to see if you can get that ball back.
Clock is stopped with 1:43 remaining as St. Joseph takes time out. Down 7, and the ball in Central A&M's hands. Pete Franek is downstairs in crunch time.
Thanks, Brian. A study in 2 sidelines over at St. Joe, very, very quiet. You look at the sideline here a moment ago, some of these players appealing to the crowd over here, a little bit more noise. And then there are those players, a little quiet, a little apprehensive, realizing a championship about to come to Moweaqua Central A&M.
Central A&M, should they prevail, will finish the season undefeated in 14 games. They are ranked number 1. St. Joseph number 5 in the Associated Press.
Well, they're definitely playing like it right now. I mean, they still have to get, if they can get another first down here, I think they can wrap it up.
Medler's handoff to Darren Wall. He pops out of the pile. Still spinning, still on his feet.
I think that's the nail.
And Dirk Doring finally finishes the play, but not before a 16-yard gain and a first down for Central A&M.
Just power rush. They give it to Wall right on the inside. He does a good job keeping his feet going. Drops his shoulder, does a good little spin move there. He just keeps those feet churning, and he's churned his way, I think, to the championship.
Inside a minute and a half. Darren Wall close to a 100-yard performance this afternoon on 13 carries. Derek Wall and Jordan split out, and now Jordan coming back in motion as Medler just keeps it himself. And once again, St. Joe's calls timeout with 1:08 remaining.
You know what? I mean, look at the coach. I mean, he's been had a calm demeanor the whole time. You know, he's telling these guys, take care of the football, guys. We got a minute and 8 seconds left. Make sure, number 1, get the football. Don't pull out there too quick. Running backs protect the ball. I mean, that could have been horrible for them, but they fortunately got the ball back.
St. Joe's, let's take a look at what they've done today. Absolutely crediting A&M for what they've accomplished. They have outscored the other guy 41-7, which tells you, I mean, this is, well, after the Monticello game, it's not quite a season high against, but the fact of the matter is that A&M has fed guys over the course of the season.
Well, when you have 2 great teams like this, a lot of times, you know, you're more evenly matched, so you're not going to dominate when you get to this top game. So it's just very good. It's just a great game against 2 fine teams, fine, well-coached teams.
Central's fans just below us here in the press box at Hancock Stadium. Mark Ramsey, not a guy, he's not a bounce off the wall, jump up and down, rah-rah kind of guy, but friends say that he is just one of the most sincerely, genuinely nicest guys that you'd ever want to meet in your life. And now Darren Wall hog-tied by Ryan Wells.
Now this shows you, Coach Ramsey, he went out there, Mark Ramsey went out and just told him protect the football. You saw how Wall was on that? He just had two hands around that football. He said it's not important as much to score as it is to protect the football. We're up. They only have a minute left. Let's protect the football.
As Trent Ryden walks to the huddle, St. Joseph takes its third and final timeout. Tonight on Sports, by the way, you will see Harrisburg and Caneland in the 3A championship, and then we'll be back just like a bad penny at 7. Harris and Davis and Pranica. Providence of New Lenox against Metamora. Providence ranked second, if you can believe that. Metamora, the top dog in Class 4A after Providence's loss this season to Bishop McNamara. But remember, Bishop Mac's a 5A school. It's still been years since Providence, which had won 50 in a row before they ran into Mac. It's still been years since they've lost to anybody in 4A. We have had a dandy this afternoon in the 2A game. Again, Galena earlier today, a 14-0 win over Stark County. Perry Jordan, as the clock now runs free inside a minute.
Well, you just let it run. You know, they don't have any more timeouts. You run as much time off the clock as possible. If you even take a penalty, it won't hurt.
Play clock is a factor on 4th down. You know, that's exactly right. You might as well eat it. And now, Ray DeMarat, the referee, being advised that that's what's going to happen. They're just going to lay right off the ball.
Take the penalty.
Because then the play clock will start with 23 seconds remaining. The play clock is 25 seconds. Hey, you've got yourself a championship. Mark Ramsey, in his 4th appearance in the finals. Again, what a record he has built.
You know, also you think about St. Joe's. I mean, they have had a great effort. I mean, they've got punched, they've got back up, they got punched again, they've got back up again. They've come back and attacked and attacked and attacked. Just a great play game by two excellent football teams.
Without a doubt. And Ryan Jones, among other things, will still leave this field with the St. Joe's record for rushing yardage at 2,000 yards plus. He set it last game in the semifinal. These guys will be able to walk off this field and know that even though they lost, they know that Central A&M will remember them.
Yeah, no question about that. I mean, it's just two great championship-type teams going after it, and unfortunately, one has to lose.
Here goes Medler around the edge. He's tackled. He won't get to the house, but that doesn't matter. It started on August 29th with a 39-6 victory over Clinton. It ends this afternoon at Hancock Stadium with a victory over St. Joseph's High School. They will stop the clock to move the chains, but there will not be another play run as Central A&M makes the 3rd time the charm. The Raiders' 3rd consecutive to the 2A championship game, and this time they will take home the trophy and the medals. It ends Raiders 35, Spartans 28. Central A&M is 1997's 2A football champion.
Mark Ramsey, his reaction was just so calm and pumped the minute. You think he really I mean, he's just a calm guy. Look at him. He's just, he hardly cracked a smile the whole time. So right at that end. Great football game by two excellent football teams, two great running backs with a great running tradition by both of these ball clubs.
Hugs for Justin Medler, handshakes for Rich Duvall. Ryan Jones taking a look around as he leaves the field. Actually, he'll stay here because we will have the medal presentations. So we've got some business to attend to, and we hope that you'll stick around. A&M wins it 35-28. Medal ceremony coming your way. Mark Ramsey. At the end of the game as time expires, well, there's that smile. Now, wait a minute. Do they bathe him? I don't know if I would bathe this guy.
They got it. Believe me. They got it, man.
Oh, there it is. Oh, man.
I mean, that guy's a no-nonsense guy. We talked to him before the game. I mean, he was just very to himself.
Jeremy Midler.
Oh, he's crying.
About it, huh? How about it?
Going out a champion.
That's one of the things I like being a man at the turn of the century. It's okay to cry.
That's right. I mean, it's his senior year. He goes out a champion.
And the second place finishers now at the podium receiving their awards for a really well done. Paul Wisman, number 74. There's Rich Duval. There's Trent Ryden receiving his medal. You know, he's thinking of his dad. Terry Maxwell, All-State offensive lineman. Hey, now there's a story. Terry Maxwell blew out his knee at the end of his sophomore season and came back to win All-State honors in the Coach's Bowl.
So there's a lot of perseverance by him coming back, especially from devastating injury like that.
Another standout, the linebacker, Steve Bewley.
I'll tell you what, these guys have nothing to be ashamed of. They played an outstanding game. It's just two great teams. Somebody had to lose.
That's Ryan Jones. We just took a look there. .6'2", 182-pound senior. Now, Ryan Jones for St. Joe's, Perry Jordan for A&M with the Pepsi play of the game.
Well, here you go, Mr. Jordan here. This really is the difference in the game. Special teams here. He runs that punt return back. He cuts back there. Actually beats Ryan Jones on that, who could have makes a beautiful cutback, and he's all by himself. Really, this is the difference in the game. Otherwise, you're talking a 28-28 tie. So it shows you how important special teams is to wins and losses.
Perry Jordan sets the table with a 5-touchdown afternoon, but it was his understudy. Actually, Jordan touchdown as well. I'm getting confused. I'm going to the other side of the ball. Perry Jordan with 5 touchdowns.
Well, they started off good, and they finished the game. You know, they got out on them in a hurry, led by Jordan, and he ended it.
That's it. Now that's a championship smile. Awesome. 34 for 181.
I mean, it's great to see the sportsmanship. They keep both teams out here together, you know, and that's what they talked about earlier today. We talked about sportsmanship, showing this, being an example, not only in high school, but as they grow on later on in life.
And won't that look good in the back in Moweaqua at Central A&M High School with Al Harris. I'm Brian Davis. Pete Pranica is on the sideline, and we'll be back after a moment on Sports Channel. An unseasonably warm day in Normal and a hot afternoon on the turf. Pete Pranica is downstairs with the winning coach.
Thanks, Brian. Coach Ramsey, we were talking just before we came on the air. This has to be the most memorable and the best game.
Oh, yeah, I think so. You know, after the last 2 years, and we made it up here, and we had some great teams and some great athletes on those teams. And, you know, it was really nice to get the win up here. You know, the kids deserve it. A lot of these kids have played on 3 teams that have started out here, and it's just a great reward for them.
Does it make it so much more sweeter having come close the last few years and it not coming through?
Oh, I think so. I think anytime you get that close and you don't get it, and you say, well, we were this close, and then when you do get it, makes it really, really special.
Perry Jordan, obviously the star, but he had a lot of help this afternoon.
Oh, yeah. You know, our offensive front's done a great job all year, and you know, the Wall brothers, and, you know, they all did a great job.
Did you like the Gatorade bath?
Not really, but I'll take one in a year.
All right, Coach. Congratulations, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Coach Ramsey. A&M wins it 35-28. They are the 2A champions. Brian?
Pete, I think that stoic is the word that most definitely describes Mark Ramsey. Did you like it? No.
He's definitely a no-nonsense type of guy. I mean, you know, have a little fun. He just won the championship.
Well, you know, the thing is, though, that he's the kind of guy that'll go home. I heard one time Northwestern upset Notre Dame a few years ago. That was when the Wildcats really put themselves on the map. I happen to live not too far away from Gary Barnett, the Northwestern coach, and so I walked around the corner, and his wife, Mary, that night, everybody was sitting around just watching the game on television, watching how they were being covered on the 10 o'clock news, and she described the feeling as purring, you know, like cats purring. Nobody was jumping up and down. Nobody was getting crazy. But, you know, I think Mark Ramsey, the point is, I think he might go home and purr tonight, too. He's going to be one happy cat.
Well, he should be happy. I mean, this is the first time they've ever won there. I don't know if he has, you know, to the point that he can't believe it and doesn't want to believe it, but I mean, they've won it. He might as well enjoy himself, but maybe that's his personality, though.
Well, you know, the other thing, too, is that look at it this way. This is a guy who now, at the completion of a 14-0 season, is in a situation where we mentioned first game back in August, all season long. He's been telling his guys, look, you've got to go and pay attention to the next step and the next step and the next step. You know, so now they have gotten through every step, and sometimes it's hard to let go of that cautious mentality.
Yes, it is. And you know, now you can, you know, the aggressiveness, all that stuff is paid off. All the practice, all those things you did all summer, they finally paid off for them.
Well, and Central A&M is a team, again, that it's hard to predict whether from year to year the guys who will follow now in the footsteps of the Medlers and the Jordans will be able to come and do this again. But again, this is the third year in a row that they were here. The other thing that I think works well for the future for A&M is that they are now playing in the Ogden Valley Conference. They have stiffer competition, generally week in and week out, than they've had traditionally. So this is a team that will get tougher through tougher competition.
It will, and they're going to have to develop a lot of young players. They lost a lot of seniors as of today, so they're going to have to bring up a new crop to develop and be champions.
So it ends 35-28, A&M over St. Joseph, and there is the stud for the other side, Ryan Jones, puts on a good, gracious smile for the guys who have just ended his dream of winning the 2A title this afternoon. Mark Ramsey with some handshakes, and we are now halfway through Championship Friday here at Hancock Stadium. Tonight on Sports Channel Plus, the 3A Championship, actually later this afternoon beginning at and Canelan will be back tonight at 7 for the 4A title game, Providence High School of New Lenox and Metamora. Tonight on the main sports channel, NBA basketball, the Bulls and Indiana Pacers, the game room at 6 o'clock, and then tip-off from Market Square Arena in Indianapolis at 6:30. Not available in all areas. But, you know, the thing is that this is a game. There's Medler, and the reaction again, I think that really does tell it all.
It really does tell it all. You know, actually, he reminded me of a young Mike Tomczak, though. He actually has the same number Mike did. And, you know, Mike was a great player here in the Illinois area in high school.
It's time for us to back on out of here. The preceding has been an exclusive presentation of Sports Channel and also our friends at Intersport. And thanks to the guys also at the IHSA. For Pete Pranica and Al Harris, I'm Brian Davis. So long from Hancock Stadium in Normal.